Okay. Um, there's two parts to this, I guess, although I suppose you could say that Ethan is a common thread. I guess he's right. The world does revolve around him. um, anyway, so here is the Ryan Kennel versus Doomcock exploring an interesting schoolboy drama live stream that Mr. H did June 7th. I mentioned before about, in some previous video, about my nerdy home having her chat highlighted saying something about how he bitched. Now, I'm not sure I can actually find it. As I brought up her saying that, and I said, well, unless you went, and there it is, maybe. Yeah. Saying it was mandatory. See, and I said, I commented at the time, unless she went on his private members-only stream and he was saying this shit that she's claiming that she has a problem with, which is, mandatory. He made no public statements about it being mandatory. That the Friday Night's crew, everybody, stand up for him immediately. He didn't claim that. All he asked about was Gary. He he expected it of Gary since they're friends and all, and so anyway, and pretty sure he never said anything, and doubt that he would have said it even in a members only stream. Would he have said anything about everybody on Friday Night Tights should have stood up for him and verified that he has sources, because how would they do that? Because he doesn't let people know who his sources are, so that doesn't make any sense. So I still suspect that this statement from her, frankly, is bullshit. I really do.
And I think that's the thing that Doomcock was probably more upset with, because him and Gary do streams together and are friends. And I think he considers to be friends with everybody that was in that stream. And,
yes, considers to be friends with everybody in the stream.
I think that's what he was probably. And again, I haven't spoken to
We're not going to do this whole video, by the way.
Really, we're not involved. So
right.
it's all
okay. So Doomcock hid behind a paywall, bitched, and talked a lot of shit. So apparently she is one of his members, so she did actually see that stream.
Well, my nerdy home is saying basically hid behind a paywall, bitch, and talk a lot of shit. Did he actually, though? Because I'm not saying a lie, I just don't know. Do you have access?
I didn't notice this before when I watched it. Sketch therapy in the chat. I don't give a shit. Both sides, fuck off. Every fucking one has reported rumors. What the fuck is this? He's right. All of them do that. Who fans these flames? Since when does it matter who started saying it matters? That's the enemy, the war campaign. I don't know about, I don't know about that, but anyway. Yeah, see, there's her again. I watched his members only stream. It was hard to watch. Now, again, I'd have to see it myself, which obviously I'm never going to see because I'm not a member. So, it's like I'd have to see it to judge for myself. I'm not going to take her fucking word for it. I'm sorry. It's like too many of these women have been having really bad takes on shit, saying, oh, this and that about Tom or whoever, and it's like I'm not going to take them. I'm especially not going to take the women, but frankly, I'm not going to take anybody's word for anything. They just say that, oh, that's what happened. It's like, well, that sounds like maybe it's your interpretation of what happened, but I'd have to watch it myself to know whether I consider that it's my interpretation of what happened or not. Boy, look at Ethan's shit-eating grin there. That's meme-worthy right there.
Do you know? Because again, that shouldn't have been public. That'd be worth the paywall. I would pay to hear Doomcock just talk shit endlessly on Ryan, and I like Ryan, but this kind of stuff is entertaining. And let's be real here: Doomcock versus Ryan Kennel is funny,
and there at least is some fucking reality from Ethan. God damn it, the fucking hell. Oh yes, what was that? Damn it. I set an alarm and oh fuck. Alright, well I can't do that right now. Didn't put down what it was for. So I momentarily forgot. Now I remember, but I can't do that while I'm fucking recording a video. I'll try to do it afterwards. Anyway, Rags called it out on the spot. Gary is just not that sharp as the EFAP boys. But Rags didn't exactly call it out, and Gary, frankly did notice. He didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to say anything. So anyway, because Cybertron toys, yeah, those should be cool. I think he said he's launching that the 4th of July. Anyway, so like I said, my Nerdy Home watched, and she claims that he was bitching.
Anyways, so that's fine. I don't want to discourage that. But what I do want to discourage is denigrating the fans, and that's one thing that the Comicsgate and Fandom Menace need to put.
She did actually. Again, sorry to interrupt you. No. But no, she did actually watch it.
I remember I watched it.
She did actually. No, she hated it. Well, so again, literally, my assumption is right as per this individual report. Yeah, and that should have been done in public. Like you can't just sit there and sort of rabbit on about that. Well, you can ultimately, but it's a bad look at the end of the day. Air it in public, because then if they're going to do this stream, which Jeremy, decided to sort of say, hey, look, jump on a stream. Those things need to have been said so people can then defend themselves against it. Like Ryan Kinnell's there, like Doomcock could have defended himself in any way. Like it's pretty, you could have done it there and then, but no, all right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a comical turn of events because then what did Doomcock do? Let me have a look.
Well, while you're looking that up, Jeremy made a good point yesterday where he said, the people that hate us are eating this up. Frickin' Jarbo was doing a stream on it last night. Everybody hates Doomcock, and several other anti-Fandom Menace channels. They're all eating the stuff up.
And honestly, who gives a shit
it's
whether
not good for the community.
So Doomcock did that tweet, and so I just want to say I do not blame Jeremy for any of this. How can you?
Whether the mundane moron or anybody else,
Jeremy's not.
why do they care?
Like, come on, get real. Jeremy's a good man and Ryan doing his guy. It wasn't supposed to
And
say.
by that I mean, why did they care about?
This is the whole. It's playground school again, like the title of this video. It's just schoolboy politics. Because there's no one supposed to say anything, bar the two people, and then the moderator of the channel on a whole. Like anyone that was involved in the actual stream specifically can sit there and go, yeah, probably should have said that. Let's calm down. You're literally insulting everyone's fans here. Yeah, very strange, very very strange. And then Doomcock went on a retweeting. Sort of tirade. Team Doomcock, I stand with you. Don't let these bullies get you down. Oh my god. I mean, but what? That's really bullying. Come on.
Yeah, the same thing that a lot of people in our community say. Talking about SJWs and the left and stuff. How they eat each other alive. Now people are saying the same thing about this community. Now they're eating each other alive.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while actually, because people sit there and I was saying it for a very long time about how studios pander to the left, and I was like, why are they doing that? They're not consumers, right? But then the more and more I would watch films and do reporting on films and things like that, you get people going, well, they released it quick enough, so I'm just going to pirate it. I'm like, you're not a fucking consumer either then. Like, you're literally as bad as the people that I'm sitting here going, well, they're not consumers. You're not a consumer at that point. You're not paying for anything. You're not paying for a product. You've got a right to sit there and complain about a product you haven't paid for. You get it for free. All you're doing is wasting your own time. That's your choice. If you don't value your own time at that point, well, fucking you can...
I have every right to bitch about something whether I fucking pay for it or not, Mr. H. Just pointing that out. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to complain about something. And as far as it's like, if they're a paying customer, then obviously the business should take their complaint more seriously. But in this modern day and age, the entertainment industry, they don't give a flying fuck about any of us. Like, they don't give a shit no matter how many of us are paying customers and we don't like what they're doing. They don't care. They don't care. They don't give a shit. They're not going to listen to any of our complaints. They're just going to carry on doing whatever it is that they feel like doing. And eventually, I'm hopeful that enough people will just, enter the apathy period. See, the thing is about the Fandom Menace is that they're kind of all about outrage. But outrage means you still care. Apathy means you don't care anymore. And once enough people reach the apathy stage with entertainment, then the whole house of cards collapses. The entire industry will come crashing down because nobody will be buying any of their shit anymore because nobody fucking cares. It's all, they will have pissed away all of the potential, customer interests, that they had, and good riddance to them once it finally gets to that point. Which, unfortunately, may still be quite a while in coming because there's still far too many people that are willing to just buy utter garbage.
You can blame yourself. So yeah, you are completely right there. Like, people are now just becoming, a similar, just similar to the people that they claim that they hate so much.
Yeah, lines are being drawn. People are taking sides. People are unsubbing, false flagging, spreading false information on the whole situation. Yeah. There's. I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think my Nerdy Home got false flagged. Yeah.
So we've got.
And I will. Okay. Here's. That's about it. Jimmy McClady had no idea who I was. He follows me on Twitter, just saying. Oh, and I think one of them, maybe it's what's his name there, from Echo Base, may have mentioned that or maybe it was somebody else. No, it was Mr. H actually, I think, who mentioned that oh well, I only follow X number of people, so that I keep that very small so that I know who the hell I'm, so I know who's, who I'm following. I actually know them, pay attention. But if you're following a bunch of people like Doomcock apparently is, then it's like you can't expect them to fucking know who the hell everybody is.
Got a third angle here, or a fourth angle here, from Andy Signor. Popcorn.
And I will apologize. I was remembering somebody else. I don't remember who it was, but I was remembering somebody else who's cheating on his wife or whatever. So apparently, whatever that scandal was with him was kind of a non-scandal. Somebody accused him of harassing them, and he didn't, or some shit. So I thought that the scandal was that he was he was sleeping around and he was married or something. I guess that was another fucking YouTuber. Who knows? Who can keep track of all these people?
I hate me being here because I got another thing.
Well, there's not just people. These are not just my subscribers. This is this will be people from all over the place.
You always have a reasonable take on things. I was watching. I love everything you guys are saying. So thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, my take is just like, look, I called Doomcock out a year ago, and I got a lot of flack for it, mocked for it. My buddy Lewis got mocked by Jeremy himself. Your sources are better than my sources. The reality is they are. Like, there's just certain people in history, I'm sure Nick, you know this, certain people in history actually have sources, and other people don't. And the reality is, I think time has proven, the track record of Doomcock has proven, his sources suck. His sources suck, and I think a lot of people are afraid to say it. And I think because they share the fan bases, or they don't want to upset fans, it's not a knock on the fans. It's a knock on the material, which is like, this man is not news. He's entertainment. Watch him. God bless you. I'm not criticizing the fans, but I'm so over people treating him like an overlord. He's just fucking dude in a mask.
He calls himself though.
This is the point, Andy.
Too many people are taking it as real, and then it gets picked up into multiple websites and sources.
Exactly.
They put it in the Bible, the article, like, well, this is a little rumor. Like, just because he says it's a rumor, just because he says it's salt, doesn't mean it's okay. Like, you can only peddle salt for so long before you need to vomit and spit it out. And I'm so not afraid to say it. I don't give a shit what people do.
My nerdy home was getting attacked by Doom's fans. Well, again, it's like, is she actually telling the truth, saying, she says he claims that it was mandatory, and that everybody on Friday Night Tights needed to defend him, and that they all needed to verify that he has sources. She made those three claims in a chat that Mr. H highlighted here in the stream, and unless all of that happened on that members-only stream of his, which I doubt, frankly. I mean, if she wants to provide me with a fucking clip, it's not like she couldn't go back and watch that again and record it with OBS or something, as she's watching it, so that we could have a copy of where he says that. But unless she's prepared to provide me with evidence, then I'm probably not going to believe her claiming that. Because as far as I can tell, he did not say those things. He didn't claim it was mandatory. That sounds more like that's what she interpreted him to mean, rather than what he actually said. He did not expect everyone on Friday Night Tights to stick up for him. He only expected Gary. That's reasonable, Don't believe for a second that he expected all of them, that he would have said that, because that doesn't make any sense. And he certainly wouldn't have expected any of them, even Gary, to have said, oh yes, Doomcock definitely has sources, because he doesn't tell people who his fucking sources are. So all three of those statements sound like they are false. They all sound like they are horseshit. And if My Nerdy Home is telling everybody a bunch of lies about what Doomcock is claiming or whatever, then it wouldn't surprise me at all if she's getting attacked by his fans. Just saying. Just saying. But anyway, a lot of this stream involves this basic complaint from Andy, and to a certain extent from EVS and Mr. H and everybody else, about how, basically, it's kind of admitting that they, for a lot of their content, which, I've done the same thing, they rely on being able to go to some of these news websites bounding into comics, Cosmic Book News or whatever, Bleeding Fool. They rely on being able to go to these places for stories. It's like these websites have a story, and then these YouTubers in the Fandom Menace, and admittedly, people like myself, perhaps, who are not really in the Fandom Menace, we may be in the same general sphere, somehow, but we're not, like card-carrying members or anything, and never were. But it's like a lot of YouTubers rely on reacting to those articles or whatever, and basically they're complaining that some of the articles are now citing Doomcock as the source for what they're talking about. They write an article based on him. So basically what's being complained about in a way is that they're complaining that used to the YouTubers here could depend on the news websites or whatever, to entertainment news websites, to do actual journalism or have sources or something, or at least do something to try to come up with some kind of story, write an article about it, and then they would just take that article and make videos based on it. And now they're upset because some of the article writers are turning around and citing YouTube videos, specifically Doomcock, but also sometimes Mike Zero, as their sources for this rumor. And of course, again, it's like they say it's a rumor. It's like well, maybe Mike Zero may not, but it's like, but the article says it's a rumor. Doomcock says it's a rumor, but somebody like EVS specifically complains in this video at some point here about how he'll read out an article about a Star Wars rumor or something, and then he'll discover at the bottom that, oh shit, it came from Doomcock. So it's like, never mind, it's like, this was a waste of my time. I shouldn't have, and it's like, well, so you're, what are you complaining about? You're complaining that the websites you used to go to react to their articles are now sometimes writing articles that are reactions to YouTubers' videos. I mean, do you see how silly that is? That now admittedly, it doesn't sound like probably a good idea to base articles, if you want to be taken seriously, on YouTube videos put out by Doomcock or especially Mike Zero. But it's just, it is what it is, and it's like, EVS shouldn't be upset about that. He should look at the bottom and see who the source was. He should scan through it, go all the way to the bottom, and see the part that says, oh, it's from Doomcock, and then he can just ignore the whole thing, instead of making a video and then getting to the bottom and then being like, oh shit, I didn't realize who the source was. It's bullshit. It's like, well, that's on you, dude. That's on you, because you're making your video. There's been one or two times that I've made a video and looked through and gotten to the end and realized that, okay, I don't think I should actually bother putting out this video. Pardon me, but I probably there may be at least one article that I may have covered that may have had Doomcock as a source. I can't remember for sure, but it may have. But it's like, I get to that point in the article, and if I didn't read through it already or didn't check to see the source, it's no skin off my nose. It's like I just get to that point and I'm like, okay, apparently the article is citing Doomcock as their source for this rumor, so it's like, yeah, take that with a grain of salt then. But so what? That's the complaint. And Jeff comes on later from World Class Bullshitters, and Jessi, of course, is there, although not on camera. At some point, where the hell is it? Can't remember how long it takes for them to. Wait, I don't know. There we go. So there's, when Jeff shows up, and well, I don't want to really go through even at 2x speed. I don't really want to go through the whole thing.
It's a point. If your whole brand is full of fans focused studios, you have to jump in. And then quote to you, Ethan, as well. Not going to be comfortable, it's not going to be fun, but you've got to do it. You really do, because it looks real bad. I think that's the crux of the matter, isn't it? You can't sit there and be absolutely fine just shitting on all the fans. Well, that is your brand, to lift the fans up. Like, it's just, what? That's when you start to look a bit like you're probably doing it for show rather than actually, sincerity, I guess.
He wasn't shitting on all the fans, though. That's where it's weirdly, that's what Doomcock's trying to spin it to. Which
but stop. Because it's not just that, remember. Again, it's that third party. It's the moderator. Gary should have stepped in.
Sure.
It's that point. Gary should have stepped in and gone, what are you doing here? Let's sort the...
Yes, he should have. And he didn't, because, well, whatever. Either because he's such good friends with Ryan, he didn't want to say anything, or just because he's a weak-ass bitch and didn't want to say anything at all, no matter what. Sketch Therapy is disgusted by the restructuring of the Fandom Menace on the future maybe, I don't know, and not the past. Yeah, okay, future. This is about how we are treated in the present The future doesn't matter. You want to make Fandom Menace a news channel. Okay. Whatever.
Well, they sound right.
Did the fans in the comment, were they like pissed off after it happened? I didn't see it live, and I wonder, was it a big deal in the moment, or was it sort of an off-the-cuff line that they typically do on those streams? You know what I mean? Feels like it became a bigger deal after the stream, in which case Doomcock was told by fans, "Oh my God, Ryan talked shit about you," is what I imagine happened.
I didn't read the chat. I'm not sure how the chat was reacting in that moment.
In the moment, I watched it. In the moment, he's just calling out anybody who really believes everything he's saying is fact. That's who he was calling out. And honestly, I don't think he's wrong, because you're just not being a smart person if you are allowing every word he tells you to be facts. And that doesn't just go to Doomcock. It's any celebrity you look up to. You know, none of us are right 100% of the time, obviously, but to assume that he is 100% of the time is a problem. And we're all sort of joking. Even Jeremy, yeah, do I believe?
But the other part is stoking this fight right on his Twitter 3 hours ago. Update. I'm optimistic that Gary and I will put the band back together. We are going to talk soon. As for Ryan, I did nothing to him whatsoever, so there's really nothing to talk about. If he apologises for what he said about me and my fans, so he is stoking this flame, I will accept his apology and move on. As I said, you know, I've spoken my piece and I have nothing else to add.
Well, except Ryan definitely did essentially insult Doomcock's fans by saying that, you know, if you believe any of the horseshit that Doomcock's peddling, you're a fucking moron. He said that, you know, it's like he called them morons if they believed him. Well, undoubtedly, some of his fans do believe him. You know, it's like, I'm sure not all of them, but some of them do. So, yes, you were insulting his fans. So, you know. Yeah.
And unless more shade is thrown at me. And again, I have nothing but affection and respect for Jeremy and Dixie Gamers. My only issue with Ryan's unprovoked attack, and I believe that. So he's saying it's an attack on my fans. So, you know, that is what he's saying. That is the narrative that is being played out here. Which is precisely why. Because my nerdy home was saying that she was on that stream, and that is what he was saying. He was bitching about it all and stuff like this. And if that's the thing that he's doing in private, again, like, he's stoking this whole team mentality.
It's awfully grown down. It really is. I mean, Jim Jones did the same thing. Went under attack by you know, senators. We had a congressman go down and visit him in Guyana, you know, and said, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?"
Tweeter trash. Doomcock has every right to stick up for his fans. Yes, he does.
And you know, before too long, he killed everyone. So I'm not saying Doomcock is going to kill all of his fans. I'm not saying that.
You're not wrong with the parallels you're drawing, and that's why I don't necessarily agree with Andy. You can fault the fans and say, "Oh, they are dumb to believe this," because you have someone who is purposely, skillfully, willfully misleading people. That's the whole stay angry thing. Oh, if I tell you to stay angry, great. What are you angry about today? I've already told you to stay angry. I'll give you something to be angry about. Today you're angry about clouds.
Okay, and here we go. I'll slow it down because it's Jessi, and she's so fucking over. She's too fast as it is.
Stay angry about porcupines. It doesn't matter. You're going to stay angry because I effing told you to. And then it doesn't matter what lies you feed them. So at some point, like...
Well, and the whole stay angry thing, I mean, that's just... It's just part of his shtick. It's not, oh, I want you to all be constantly angry. I mean, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that Doomcock himself is angry all the goddamn time? And do you believe that he really wants all of his fans to remain angry at every moment of their lives? If that were the case, then both he and all of his fans who took him literally on that would have all had coronaries by now. So that's just stupid, Jessi.
Yeah, it sucks that they all got called fucking retards, but at the end of the day, at some point, Doomcock has to take responsibility for making his fans look like effing retards. By the way,
you have a very valid point there. You do actually have a very valid point. And that goes...
I don't know. Opinions? You know, anybody who's watching this, any opinions you want to offer on your whether or not you think that that's a valid point or not? Much less a very valid point, as he put it. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't see what the issue is. I never have. If he wants to peddle rumors or whatever, fine. And if people want to believe it, fine. Who cares? But acting like, oh, because they believe it, because they're gullible or stupid, or maybe they're just they're just desperate to believe an alternate reality that's better than the one that they that they're observing all the time. So they're desperate to believe that there will be a Kathleen Kennedy free future where maybe Star Wars gets to be good again or something. You know, if they are so desperate to believe that they're willing to believe anybody who says anything that gives them any kind of hope. And then at some point it starts to feel like you start to look at it from a sort of biblical perspective or whatever, and it's like, are you gonna, it's like you got the crippled guy, are you gonna kick away his cane? It's like, are you gonna kick away? No, you're not. It's like, that's cruel. So don't steal from these people their hope, even if it's a vain hope. You know, it's like, if they want to believe that Star Wars is going to be good again, then let them believe that. You know, who cares? Why do you, all of you fuckers, give such a, you know, massive amount of, you know, why do you care? Why do you care so much? And, you know, and why do you feel it necessary to call them all retards or whatever for believing things that you are sure are not true? You know, it's like, what's the, you know, why? What? How does, I mean, you know, I don't know.
There's some ways of what I was saying earlier with respect to, like, I've watched him and I've gone, oh, he's very clearly an entertainer. Like, I'm not going to watch him anymore. Like, I don't sit on YouTube to watch entertainment channels. I don't care. But that's what I got from him. He's very clearly an entertainer. He's sat there in a mask, costume, and he's got, you know, a whole set piece there. It's great. Like, it works, and he's very successful with it, and he has that, and that is successful. But he probably should clarify a little bit more that is what he is. And I guess that's kind of what you're saying there, isn't it?
Reaction from the chat seems to be somewhat mixed. Damn, Jessi is... that is so right, says one person, but another person says, shut up, Jessi.
So that's the point you're trying to make.
Yes, that's like, yeah, was that the point you're trying to make? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I appreciate the invite. I don't want to be rude and be like, hey, let me make a bunch of noise. Sorry, Mr. H.
No, you're more than welcome. Again, as a moderator, I'll step in as and when.
It does make his fans look idiotic. I think that would have been a better way to say it.
Well, a lot of the people that I've seen on my Facebook posts and on Twitter and stuff have been basically dismissing these rumors for a long time. A lot of the smaller channels that haven't really blown up yet, they don't really follow that rumor mill. There's a portion of the some channels that kind of run with those as fact and push them on other channels, but there's a lot of newer people coming up that just see through all the stuff. And this was just a kind of an eventuality, if you ask me, because the audience can only, they're like, really, really, really. I mean, the other night on the show, we were reading something, I was like, oh.
Love Doomcock. He is on another level from all these yokels, accepting EVS. Yeah, as a showman, yeah. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. None of the people on screen right now are as entertaining as Doomcock, except EVS. EVS is more entertaining than Doomcock, but it's like, Doomcock is a showman. He does that quite well. I mean, if you like his shtick. If you don't like his shtick, then, well, you know, then I guess it doesn't appeal to you. But it is, you know, he is a character. Literally, he is, you know, the dude is playing a character. He's playing it up very well, and, you know, it's, you know, it works. It works for him, clearly. I always thought that his you know, that his whole, you know, future rule of the earth, you know, sort of that, it's sort of, I don't know, what would it be, like Flash Gordon-esque or whatever type, you know, old-fashioned, you know, golden age or whatever the hell, sci-fi villain. I always thought that style of thing that he was doing with his character was, you know, was pretty cool. I thought, you know, it's like, yeah, I like it. I like it. But there's somebody in the chat saying, "I'm sorry for being an idiot, Andy. Sorry for liking his entertainment." But it's like, I would have to judge most of these other people as not being anywhere near, you know, as entertaining. Like they're you know, they're just, except for EVS, obviously. EVS is very successful as a showman as well, but the rest of these guys, not so much. You know, I mean, that's not to say that I necessarily dislike them, although, you know, Jeff's fairly boring, honestly, and I guess I will go as far as to say I haven't seen much of Andy, but based on his appearance here, which is probably the most that I've ever actually seen him or listened to him, he's not endearing himself to me, not at all. So,
really, Batman? They're going to cancel this? There's no way. COVID's over. Blah blah blah. And then it's like right in the middle of the article. I was like, oh, I didn't even say his name on air. I just stopped mid sentence. I'm like, oh, nope, don't want to associate myself with that.
Yep. Yep.
Is it intentional? Is Doomcock a spy? Is he a provocateur? Is he from the other side? He could possibly be. Maybe he works directly for Kathleen Kennedy to make, the Fandom Menace look stupid.
Well, Jeremy would be the one to ask, because I think Jeremy's the only one that knows who he actually is and has seen his face. And
yeah,
that's very interesting, Jeremy Griggs. Come on in here, Jeremy Griggs. Come answer for yourself.
Well, I was going to say, I have something. Breaking news, by the way. Kathleen Kennedy has been fired, Mr. H.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Here she is. Once again, breaking news. She's fired because she's on set Indiana Jones 5 right now.
In the UK.
She must be fired again, guys, because someone who's on the chopping block would clearly be on the set.
In Yorkshire.
Reprising her role as a dancer from the Temple of Doom. That's all it is.
Here is Harrison Ford scolding her for being a bitch. I'm sure is what the story is. But there you go. Take it with a grain of salt, guys. Take it with a grain of salt.
So, as you can see, there is there is to some degree some shitting on Doomcock that takes place on this stream, and I guess they're not really shitting on his fans exactly, but I don't know. I kind of have my doubts as to whether or not anybody on the screen, well, Nick, I guess, but I have my doubts about anybody else on the screen having very much in the way of respect for Doomcock's fans, unless they happen very specifically to, also be fans of whoever the other person is. So.
Good God. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's a real bad look. The whole thing looks dumb. It looks dumb on the entire Fandom Menace as well. Like, anyone associating and allowing that to pass, or even, stoking those kind of flames and going, yep, sort of he said, she said stuff. Like Doomcock, for instance, is absolutely part to blame for this. Like, his Twitter is just fanning this flame as Ryan said this and Ryan said that, and the fans of this and the fans of that. Oh, I'm going to take time out, and he's hurt my fans. It's like, come on.
It's a smart move, right? Because there's now doubt on his legitimacy. So what do you do to try and combat that? Oh, well,
There's doubt now.
Exactly what it is.
Now.
Right? There's a crack in the Doomcock helmet. I think he's seeing a weakness, so he's realizing, oh shit, there are people who are friends of my friends who are starting to doubt me. How do I do this? Well, I have to activate my fan base, and they're against us. Is what I think is what's happening right now.
It reminds me so much of what.
Does he really have a problem though with you people doubting him? I don't think he cared. I don't think Doomcock cares if people believe his rumors. It's like, oh, these other YouTubers, they don't believe my rumors. It's like, okay. I kind of doubt that he cares whether you believe it or not. I think he cares that you're shitting on him, and yes, you are kind of shitting on his fans too. I think that's kind of where he's coming from there. Doing or what studio? If anyone knows about idiots on YouTube, it's Jeremy. Also, Harrison Ford is telling Kennedy his coffee order. Sketch therapy. It's hard to tell sometimes with him, but I guess he's coming down on Doomcock's side, maybe? I don't know. I don't like motherfuckers insulting what he's trying for there, more or less. Fans for Hollywood, be it for rumors or what the fuck ever. I went through this shit when it was Jeremy Prime instead of Doomcock. Okay? Doomcock is secretly... a lot of them are calling him Doomcock. Doomcock is secretly angry George Lucas. Saying he is George Lucas? I don't know. Trash, I hope the upcoming Biden family dossier gets this much attention. It won't. Not by the mainstream media. They'll fucking bury that shit. Going full RICO act on their asses. Yeah, I wouldn't count on that. I don't know. There's lots of people who think that, there's going to be like arrests or something. It's like, I think any hope of that died with Trump leaving office. So I don't expect to see arrests. I expect to see, as I've said, I expect to see the breakup of the United States within the next 5 years, probably less than that. And it's always possible that in the disorder of the collapsing empire that you will actually see, some extrajudicial action taken to take care of the traitors, but, they may also escape to parts unknown. I don't really, I don't really see that there's any reason to be overly concerned about that. The concern needs to be with establishing successor states that will hopefully get it right where America got it wrong. But that's not the subject of this. There's some rant here from Jessi. I hope we haven't
what
already
Idi
gone
Amin
past
did.
it.
And I think it's inevitable at this point that Doomcock will probably decapitate a few of his enemies, maybe Ryan, and will yell at their severed heads on his dinner table. We've seen this before. Ignore.
I gotta tell you right now, it's like that would be cool as fuck. I mean, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be horrible, but at the same time, it'd be really fucking cool. It's like, wow, Doomcock actually, lived up to the whole supervillain thing, and he decapitated his enemies, and and he talks to their severed heads. It's like that would actually be pretty fucking awesome in a way. It'd be gruesome, but it'd be awesome. It'd be both simultaneously. Grossum or something.
Or history at your peril, Andy.
He never talks about it. He'll never go on a stream to confront this issue because he knows he can't win it.
But again,
Mike Zero has more credibility than
there are
Doomcock.
people who are not
No,
actively
not at
debunking
all.
these things enough, and especially the individuals that were on that stream specifically.
And nobody wants to upset the fans and lose that audience, those clicks, that revenue. That's the real issue here. It's like Gary, Jeremy, they all.
But the thing is, you can ruin some. You can discuss someone's credibility without attacking their characters. Not hard. I've done it. I've done it with Doomcock a good few times, and I've not seen any response videos. Yeah, sure, you might think I'm a cock, but I mean, sorry, it is what it is. I will never attack. I'm not going to attack your character. But I'm happy to sit there and go, you're absolutely wrong on this. I can say with 100% certainty, and we will find out in 1 week's time.
Well, Mr. H, some of us have tried to make videos like that, and we're met with pushback from other content creators.
So, pray tell, what videos?
Slow this down, because yes, here we go with this bit.
I'm not gonna drop names, but I put out a video in January that called out a bunch of excuse the noise, that called out a bunch of bullshit about this internal war and all this other stuff. And I said, you're not gonna print lies in a book. And everyone's like, you would. And anyway, I got told I shouldn't have made this video, and all these things happened because they go against those rumors. And so that's the type of shit that's been going on. Like, there are people making videos. My video's still live. It's not private or hidden. But there are people out there that are trying to be like, this stuff doesn't make sense. It's all about wish fulfillment. And I get it. The audience, we're part of the audience too. We wish Star Wars was good. I wish it was. If I could snap my fingers and fix it, who wouldn't? But the point is, we can't do those things. So it's really a pointless endeavor to sit and try to lie and say it's going to happen just because it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the whole Batman thing. Like, the whole Batman thing is bollocks. Like, it's 100%.
So there's that, and I don't know. Is he I mean, people seem to be speculating that he's talking about Gary, but I don't think he ever admits who it is, who told him don't make that video. But there, that seems to be one of these things that's kind of going around right now, rumor, whatever, that Gary is. I mean, some of it is probably bullshit because it's coming from Mecca, but it's not just her. It's like there's other people who seem to be suggesting that Gary is trying to control the fandom menace, like he's trying to control the narrative or whatever of everybody in that general sphere. And he's, I guess, the biggest channel or one of the biggest channels there, so I guess he has influence. He doesn't really have power over anybody unless, of course, like, just like the women with Tom, it's like they act like he has power when he doesn't. It's like he doesn't actually have the ability to control any of you, so he only controls you insofar as you let him. But they obviously let him until they stopped, and then they complained about it. Where's my frog book, Pie Man? Sometimes I feel like asking, where's my pie book, Frogman? Anyway, but like as I've said before, it doesn't really matter whether Gary actually is trying to control anything. If enough people believe that he is, if enough people, even if that's a lie, started by Mecca or whoever, who knows. If that's false, it doesn't matter that it's false if enough people believe it, because if enough people believe it, then they're going to react as though it's true. And you could see an even greater fracturing of the Fandom Menace or what used to be the Fandom Menace. I mean, half the people that are major figures in it have supposedly now declared that they're not part of it. Of course, it could wind up being kind of like what's been said about Comicsgate from time to time, which is you are Comicsgate because the enemy says you are, not because you say you are. Like the SJWs define you as Comicsgate, then you are Comicsgate, whether you like it or not. could be kind of the same thing. It's like, oh, you are a Fandom Menace because, assholes that don't like any of us said that. So, I don't know. Shane Davis named president of Lucasfilm. He'd probably do a better job. He really probably would.
Sent fresh out the arse, bollocks, cow shit. It's the biggest pile of crap I've heard in a long, long time. Warner Media doesn't sign Robert Pattinson as a first look deal producer across all the platforms, when they're like, oh, we hate him. He's a scumbag. We don't like him. Like, come on. It's just such clear nonsense. It's such clear nonsense.
I haven't heard these Batman rumors. What's
Have you not? Oh, mate, so funny. Like, Robert Pattinson. This is the real kind. This one.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to all the fucking. Anna saying, "Cecil, make me a sandwich." Anyway, it's like, I don't pay that much of attention. I think he goes on to say something.
It's people are like, Robert Pattinson's a soy boy, but he's disrespecting the entire Batman.
Well, he looks like one. I mean, he's got like that kind of manly jawline, but like his body is not. It's like he doesn't apparently like work out or nothing. So he's got kind of this skinny body that just it's like. I mean, he's no Christian Bale. Let's put it that way.
Set production because he had sex with Zoe Kravitz on the Batmobile.
Good for him, really. Did he?
Exactly, give him a high five, mate.
Wow.
Give him a fucking high five. That's not soy boy. That's
Well, I'm not going to give a high five to somebody for having sex on the Batmobile or having sex with some actress on anywhere. I don't care. Like, I don't fucking care. I mean, I guess some people talked about that and they were like, "Oh, isn't it horrible that he did that?" And it's like, no. And then other people, like Mr. H, are like, "Isn't that amazing? If he actually did that, shouldn't we all be giving him high fives because that's amazing, that's awesome, that's what I do," or whatever. And I think Nick says, "Yeah, that's what I do." And it's like, Nick, please, that is not what you do. You'd probably not even be able to climb up on top of that fucking thing. But the point is, it's like, that's not my reaction to it either. It's like, who cares? He did, he didn't. He fucked her, he didn't fuck her, he fucked her on the Batmobile, he fucked her in bed, I don't care. It has nothing to do with anything. Who fucking gives a shit?
legendary. And they're like, he made Zoe Kravitz pregnant. Like,
It's legendary! No, it's not. There's nothing legendary about having sex on a fucking car.
Imagining that she was Lenny Kravitz, and that was the...
that's the
Okay, that would perhaps be more noteworthy. Perhaps it still wouldn't be legendary, but it'd be more interesting, wouldn't it?
All of this stuff is just like, that's clearly that is like EastEnders, which is a soap opera show in the UK. That's like EastEnders level crap. But the thing is that the people are so ready to hate on Robert Pattinson as a person rather than him as an actor, because he's actually a really good actor. If you fucking watch stuff, you realise he's a good actor rather than just go Twilight. No, watch things he's in. He's a very good actor. You can say that he's not.
Well, I don't know what he's been in. I mean, obviously I saw him in Twilight, which is actually quite entertaining as long as you watch it with riff tracks. What else has he been in? He was in that one Harry Potter film, which was after they changed everything to. I mean, apparently J.K. Rowling was more pleased with it, but with the later movies, like, she hated the first two movies, I guess, and like movie 3 onward, she liked it. I was exactly the reverse, because the first two movies are actually faithful to one another and to the books, and starting with movie 3, they cut out an enormous amount of shit that's in the books, and they also stick a bunch, change or add a bunch of crap that doesn't belong, and frankly, it's plot breaking. The plot breaking shit gets put in there, and it's like, what is this garbage? This is absolute shit. I was so looking forward to the third movie, and then I saw it, and it's like, oh my god, they ruined it. So from that point on, I didn't really care. I love the first two movies though; they're good. Of course, it didn't help that old guy who was playing Dumbledore died, so they had to get a different actor. So that's unfortunate. Old guy. I mean, I say old guy. I know his name. I just can't remember it right now. He was in what was that movie he was in? It fucking left him behind. It was terrible. It's terrible. He, his character gets killed in that. But The Wild Geese. He was in The Wild Geese. Anyway, it's a good movie, by the way. From the 70s. Pattinson is very talented. Well, he could be. I don't know. It's like I said. It's like I just can't think of anything he's fucking been in that I've seen. He must be in things that they're just not not the sort of shit that I like to watch. Maybe so.
Right for Batman, but then the nonsense rumors of he shanked Zoe Kravitz on the Batmobile. So what if he did? That's epic. Give the man a high five. If you think
No,
Rob
thank you.
Pattinson is a soy boy for having sex with Zoe Kravitz on the Batmobile, you're a fucking incel, mate. If you hear that news,
No, it's two different things, Mr. H. People think he's a soy boy because of the way that he didn't he didn't bulk up for the role of Batman. So apparently, I mean, based on the the pictures that we've seen, it looks like he's got a Batman jawline, but he doesn't have a Batman body. He looks so it's like that's the soy boy complaint, is the way that he looks, and they're right. It's like he's too skinny. He just I mean, obviously I don't hate him or anything because he looks that way. It's like it's his choice, whether he wants to hit the gym or not. But like that's gonna be where you get the complaints, insofar as there are any, about him being a soy boy, is because he looks like one. And as far as the it's like, and the business about him having sex with his co-star or whatever on the Batmobile, it's like that's a separate rumor. Probably it's complete horseshit, but regardless, it's a separate rumor. It's not, I mean, you're putting them together and acting like, oh, if you think he's a soy boy because he had sex on the Batmobile, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody thinks that.
so you go, oh, he's a soy boy. You're an incel. You're not getting laid. You're not getting laid. You're an idiot.
And also, Mr. H is a total fuckwad to, I guess, every member of his audience or anybody else's audience who doesn't agree with him, by calling them all incels. You're an incel. You're not getting laid if you think this bullshit thing that I just made up by putting two separate rumors together. I mean, what the fuck is he on about?
Right? People that very clearly get laid, and like, you're gonna go, no, mate, like, that's legendary. Like, on the Batmobile? Yeah, man, that's cool. Like,
That sounds like something I would have done if I was on set.
exactly, it's cool. But
No, you wouldn't have, Nick. You might have tried, but you probably wouldn't have managed to climb up on top of that thing. And seeing as how it's probably made out of plastic, basically, it might have caved in under your weight. As it would mine as well if I tried that. Anyway. Disobedient Space Whale, he's a soy boy. And that complaint also could be because of, his politics, which I don't know what they are, but I'd be willing to hazard a guess that probably, like virtually every fucking buddy else in Hollywood, his politics are bullshit lefty politics. So
again, it's the same nonsense narrative that people are just so ready to push. But that's half of it. And then the fact that he's like, oh yeah, no, people were also saying that he's storming off set. Matt Reeves hates him, and this movie's going to blow up to $400 million, and all of this stuff. It's like, oh my god, come on. Like, why are you so ready to?
I don't care. I don't care one way or the other. If it costs them a fuck ton of money to make it, I don't care. I just don't
believe this. Oh, Warner Brothers executives hate him. Matt Reeves got a massive shouting match with Warner Brothers executives. Did they? Who's the source?
I think the weights, Sketch says, I think the weights are why they call him a soy boy. He doesn't lift weights. Yeah, and my point exactly, Sketch. My point exactly. They're calling him that because of his appearance. Doesn't have anything to do with with separate rumors about him fucking his co-star.
Then.
Thank you.
Apparently Doomcock saw it all. So who the fuck's the source? Is it Warner Brothers executive? Who was the source that sat there and watched Matt Reeves watching them, catching them, Matt Robert Pattinson fucking Zoe Kravitz? Who's that source? Who's this weird? Like, is it Ditto the Pokemon just popping up from the ground? Oh, see, like, the fuck is it? Because no source is gonna be CEO. Like, come on.
AI Batmobile, like Kid.
I like it.
Twitter Trash asks, were they wearing face masks while they banged on the Shagmobile?
Look, I get not giving sources. Like, there's certain sources you can't give because they work on the film or they're in the film, right?
They're imaginary.
I understand, but the problem is, in order to then build it, you have to have a credibility and like a track record of like, oh, see all these ones that prove true, and then you can earn like, okay, cool, he's got legit sources. But I would challenge Doomcock's fans to prove legitimacy. I mean, aside from the leaks, which were not from him, like what are the things that really prove true? What is the percentage of correct?
And her nerdy home says the Pattinson source is the hate for Pattinson's casting. That's all. Whatever the hell that means. I mean, I don't really think that he was right for the role. I mean, we'll see. If the movie ever gets around to coming out, I guess I'll watch it and find out whether or not it was good. I'm not excited to see him in that role. I can't think of anybody, any modern actor offhand that I would be like, oh yeah, he needs to play Batman. It's like, Not off the top of my head, I can't. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody, but anyway.
I think is what the problem is there. And two sources are citing him like it's fact, and that's the problem.
Just to clarify, because someone's trying to apparently stir up some shit between me and my nerdy home on Twitter. Says, do you notice how Mistake Reviews isn't reading all your comments on the stream?
Just don't
No,
like
mate. Like, fucking, are you blind? There's
I can't
30 people here. I can't read everyone's comments. I'm highlighting them. I can't read. What? Come on. What is this? Again, this is this playground bollocks. Have a bit of fucking logical sense behind you. There's 1,300 people here. I can't read out every one of their comments. And also, it would be unfair to everyone else here. So I highlight them. And if I see something else that's interesting, I'll fucking read it out or highlight that. Come on. Fuck me.
What would you call their fans?
Again, this is this weird. Whatever. I just thought I had.
Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker script details before it was leaked. Oh, Twitter trash. I guess saying that at Doomcock. Oh, okay. Could be. I mean, I don't remember that offhand, but I'd be willing to. As far as I'm aware, Twitter trash is usually pretty good at knowing what's going on. So. And Sketch Therapy's going on about War Campaign, which did they even have anything to do with the Fandom Menace? They were a Comiskate thing. What the
I had to say
fuck?
that because they're both clearly watching this and just come on, like,
I mean, there's definitely people out there that just want to fuel the flames, fuel the fire, get
That's
stuff
EBS,
going,
that's it.
Yes, EBS.
That's me. No, you're describing me. I'm not saying
Okay.
that. That's me. I'm going to fuel this fire. And I'd like to just say that the last time I saw anything like the way Doomcock is behaving, Pol Pot, Cambodia, 1978.
God. Like I said, we may have already.
Honestly, millions of people died.
Don't worry about skipping forward, but I want to
Is
get
it- you
want to get to
you
Jesse's
laying there-
fucking
you laying
rant.
around about
Like that's the one thing that I really want to hit out of this whole stream.
No, but it's a valid point.
Is her
Like,
bitching.
when is everyone? I guess so. Gary and
It
the rest
really
of the
kinda
Fandom
goes-
included. When are
goes
people going to
overboard.
actually say, hey, this is a detriment to us now, actually, rather than because that's the point. Is no one's calling it out because people use that for content as well. So there is a vested interest in not calling it out, and that's bad. That's real bad. And then they should, I don't know.
I gave up after Zack Snyder. A part of me died after that Zack Snyder incident. When I was yelling on my live stream, I was more angry, I think, and disappointed than I've ever been. I feel like
That Zack Snyder thing was just fucking.
Well,
I
just
couldn't
your-
believe that.
your video was great. Your video was really good.
I'm cable now, so no one can see it, sadly. When people ask for it, I'm like, I directed them to the World Class Bullshit stream.
Your stream with Uche, also, the stream with Uche was fire too. My God.
That's the one.
Yeah,
okay.
the okay one.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, look, either you're serious about this or you're not. It's like I thought I was around a lot of people who were serious about, criticizing what's going on in Hollywood, holding SJW feet to the fire. YouTubers need to constantly be informing people about what's going on, why these things are happening. And when you have an opportunity to face down one of these cucks in Hollywood, you need to actually stand up for yourself and stand up for the people who you represent, disenfranchised fans. I'm sad that we've lost focus on that. And, I don't know what the Fandom Menace could ever be for, if it weren't at least for that. And so, yeah, I mean, I just watched this stuff go down, and I'm like, these are people who, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their purpose is.
But again, it goes down to. That's what I was kind of saying on the Uche stream was what's the purpose of that charity stream at that point? Because if it's for charity, you should have stepped in. If it's for promotion, i.e. Zach, then obviously your hands are tied, you didn't want to say anything. But that's why you probably shouldn't be behind the veil of charity at that point. And then it's going down to where the interests lie, and people's actions reveal a lot in terms of where people's interests lie and what people how they handle certain situations and how they act moving forwards. So yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy's actually come out and said he's done with the whole charity thing. After all that, doing publicly events, raising money for charity and stuff. He just doesn't want to deal with it because regardless whether he does it or not, there's people are going to attack him regardless, anyways.
So Ethan, do you think going back to the way things were before is the right way, or should we push forward and create a new identity for what we do?
I don't know. I mean, I'm
Interesting
deeply,
question.
I'm deeply involved in Comicscape.
Things were so nice when we were all hanging out in Chicago together.
Well, it's really easy to get back to that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just common sense will prevail. The thing is, it's like there's no battle lines, there's no problems with anybody. It's just like, we all operated individually and stuff. Let's just go back to the way things were.
This
It's a lot
is
more
the
fun.
new
It's just a lot
normal,
easier.
says Twitter
Dude,
trash.
they're talking about the
Could be.
people always talking about the way the high council used to be because of just the way everything used to be, and people miss that. And there's still a huge audience for it. They're hungry for it. I think it's hard time to get it back to them again because it's been a year of nothing. Things are opening back up. I think people will realize, the truth.
Yeah, I'm all for that, 100%.
Yeah, I'd say that's sort of a pretty valid line to approach. But I also think, like, if you look at what everyone makes content-wise, it's all bloody same as well. Like, it's boring. Everyone is making exactly the same content. How boring is that?
Excuse the noise again, but it's really homogenized, and it makes it uninteresting to even want to produce content. Because if everything, The Last of Us 2 for 5 years, hold on, sorry.
It's fine.
No, but you're right. As an audience member too, like I heard earlier in the stream how you said you don't watch a lot of people in your serious content. I don't.
Honestly, I don't watch any. I watch car channels and I watch cooking channels. I love a cooking channel. I absolutely love it because you can't watch people. I only find this stuff through Twitter. That's how it gets onto my sphere. People like stuff, so it comes up with the script doctor liked this or something like that. That's how the whole weird situation between me and Cameron Pasha happened because he liked a nonsense tweet from Cameron Pasha. And I was like, that doesn't sound very peaceful, mate. And I got blocked for asking 2 questions. Close-minded fool. But anyway, but yeah, I just can't be bothered because if you watch this my channel every Monday, but friends and stuff like that, but you still have to disassociate yourself.
Their experiences.
Do tell.
No, just exactly that. I mean,
Leave it on
I
cliffhanger.
with the show about the High Council, it became just the rumor mill. Let's talk about this source and this source. And it got boring as shit. Look, if you want that content, go to anybody that produces it. But like, we've always been this weird little haven of like fun, but relevancy, but this, but that. I mean, sometimes we're talking about poignant topics in entertainment, pop culture. Sometimes we even talk about pooping in a pool. But that's the beauty of the show. It's always been.
To the best of my knowledge, the High Council is not currently particularly entertaining. Certainly the one that I watched, it's like there was, I mean, even when you include the drama, if you're interested in that sort of thing between Mecca and Tom, it still wasn't fucking entertaining, man. It just wasn't. You know? And sit there and listen to him for 3 fucking hours, bullshit about nothing. You know? I mean, this stream, there's at least something going on, but anyway, I don't know. I don't know. These people, if they don't want to just talk about the same fucking things all the time, then they need to, I don't know, come up with original content of some kind. You know? I mean, probably most of them wouldn't be good at it, but some people, surely there's somebody on YouTube who's doing that. You know, let me know if there is somebody, who's like writing and performing their own, audio dramas or something on YouTube. There surely has to be that, going on someplace. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Could do that. You could do, Comicsgate could do like cross promotion with some of their comics or something by getting YouTubers together to do the audio drama version of the comic.
Its own identity. It became monotonous in the rumor mill, and it just became boring to produce the show too. It wasn't like I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, the people they love the topics. This fucking sucks." The audience likes some of it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not here to like try to continue the everything drama, but like it's really refreshing to know that other YouTubers, a lot of the audience is in the same mindset, because it's just so hard to find a desire to make anything for YouTube when it's just a bunch of homogenous shit. It's like, great, everybody's talking about the same thing. Yeah, you can take a different approach, but it's so boring. Why do I want to cover it at all? You know?
Yeah.
Or if you take a different approach, if I tell you get it wrong.
Or if you take another approach to it, or try to take it to a level
Because everyone else is reporting the contrary or something like that.
Yeah, and it used to be nobody ever questioned, oh, you made this video, you shouldn't have. It used to be Ethan, Jeremy, and I in the back going, oh, this was so great, this happened.
Twitch Trash says, I liked getting everyone's different takes on stuff.
All the way it was regulated. Back in the day, it was always, hey, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, I'll see you here at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Other people started putting fingers in pies, and there was this whole bunch of bullshit about, oh, let's tell you what talk about on your show, and let's talk about this on this show, and let's control it all. And it got stupid, and it got dumb, and it got pointless. And I'm so glad that it's over, because it was just a fucking dark year across the board.
So we will have to get some super chats because we're all here. I'm afraid I've been very, very lax on super chats. I'm normally much better than this. So we'll just get some bits and pieces. So Marshmallow for £5 says, I just like to point out that Santa Claus is in the chat. That is all. Carry on.
Cecil says, my sources say Bob Iger is sniping people from the top of Space Mountain. FBI is on the scene.
Much earlier. There's a guy with an awesome name, Santa Claus. Taker610 for $2 says, rumors get old after a while. Ask Mike Zero. Snatch Face the Fool says, thank you for making me laugh. It's crap. To do it's civil and mature. B says, busting chops is fine if you're really least. Well, you have, and that's something to be proud of. No one calls this stuff out. Why wouldn't you call this stuff out? Why wouldn't you say that?
Well, there's like you said.
Thumbs up, super sticker. That was your echo. Ryan, Gary, and Az have been kind of book about it rather than fly. Thank you for stage Nick EVS. But then he's saying things publicly, which makes people be nasty. So you're doing something wrong there anyway, right? Like that you're part of the problem at that point. Elizabeth Lyons, I'm so happy for this. Yay, love Mr. H and Gleathan. Treasure Watch Studio did 2 super chats. Says EBS stands up when a pie is on the top shelf. If only the person who's running the stream had stood up for fans. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Gary should have stood up for fans.
EBS is eating pie right now.
That's it. What flavour? What flavour good sir? You let
cheeseburger pie.
Nice. Appreciate that. Rob, could have mitigated this whole bit. Like you just can't. It looks real bad. Said EBS marries Baker Square CCO for access to Menace. Fan Doomcock for you.
He had some pretty absolute things to say about fans, and I know it was touched on earlier. Can I say something just possibly controversial, just regarding Ryan, since I know he had some pretty absolute things to say about fans, and I know it was touched on earlier. I'm going to throw my hat into the ring, saying that if you are still a Zack Snyder fan, if you are part of the PC Gamers camp and still a Zack Snyder fan after the shit he pulled, you are a fucking retard. And I said that many, many times behind closed doors to many, many people. So it was hilariously hypocritical for me to hear somebody
she's not wrong
want
there.
To call other fans those names, want to make so many excuses for the reasons they continue to simp.
I mean, I don't know that I describe them as retarded, for that, but I would describe, I would say something. It's like it's very ridiculous. For you to still be a Zack Snyder fan after he shits all over you. It's like, once somebody has shown you that, they're kind of a piece of shit and they have contempt for you, basically, okay, it's like, just accept that that's how they feel and move on. Of course, the key to not ever being disappointed with people like that is don't ever build them up in your fucking mind. I mean, that's one thing that I guess I don't think I can connect to. I just can't. I I don't think I can connect to this concept that you see. Sooner or later you see a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure Doomcock has said it numerous times. EVS has probably said it. Most of these people on YouTube seem to have said it at some point or other. They talk about their heroes, childhood hero or whatever, or somebody they admire, and they constantly wind up referring to somebody or other as their hero. Sometimes it's fictional, like they'll say Luke Skywalker's their hero. Sometimes, EVS will say it of, I don't know, some legend in the comic book industry that he got to meet once or some shit, or some other, entertainer or whatever the fuck, Doomcock will say that about people, like William Shatner is his hero or something like that. And I can't connect with that sentiment, with that feeling that anybody has, because I keep thinking, do I have any heroes? I think about it and I'm like, no. Like, no, none. It's like, I think back to my childhood and it's like, did I ever have any heroes? It's like, no, I never, not famous people, not actors, not characters that the actors played, not relatives, nothing. There was, I wasn't into sports, so not, that, wasn't even a possibility, or at least not a likelihood or whatever, that it'd be there'd probably be some kids that I grew up with who would have been like, oh, Michael Jordan was my hero or something. It's like, I don't understand that. Like, none of these people rise to the level of hero. But then again, these are the same people perhaps who will say that they love someone even when they barely know them. And as I've said before, I don't throw around the L word very lightly. It's like, it applies only to a very small number of people that I've ever that I've ever known, to qualify for being described as a true loved one. And the same thing, I guess, would be the case with heroes. I don't have any that I can think of, not from childhood and not more recently, until he wound up ultimately either being unwilling or unable to actually do all of the things to go as far as necessary. Probably Trump was closer to being a hero than almost anybody else in my recollection. And yet I still don't think I would have described him that way. I was, I don't know. So I'm trying, it's like, I don't know. It's just, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm not wired the same way as other people. I just don't think that way. I don't think of other people as being heroes. I guess, I guess if I have to, it's like, if I have to say, oh, you're going to make me, I mean, obviously nobody is, but if you were to make me, name one name, it's like, name somebody who's your hero. It's like, okay, Jesus. Jesus is my hero. Like, he saved me, so, he's my hero. So, but like I said, like, your common things of sports stars or whoever the fuck, that would be your quote-unquote hero, it's like, no, I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank on that one.
All over them, but then think it is okay and acceptable to blame other fandoms for believing equally retarded shit.
So are you referencing Ryan here? What's
just a little bit, just a bit,
just a little.
No, that's the first. So I guess you're referencing the fact that when he jumped on the stream, he literally said nothing at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so. There's a spinelessness, there's a continued.
That is literally what I said. You do know that.
What?
For someone
that is literally what I said.
Jesse's stealing his take.
Oh yeah. By the way, Mr. H, I have a listener who will not let the bathrobe thing go. He thinks it's the most hilarious thing ever.
It was hilarious because I'm there. It's like 1 a.m. and I'm like, mate, I don't want to. I messaged him. I was like, I'm getting out of bed for this. I was like, I'm getting out of bed.
What is this? Super chatter. Don't call yourself the Fandom Menace and support denigrating fans. Period. Yeah. If you supported DC before, support him now. If you had a problem with DC, you should have called it out before. Well, that's a fair point.
Happy to get out of bed, happy to talk to you. And he's like, put the camera on. I'm like, I'm in a dressing gown, mate. Like, people don't want to see me half naked. Come on, bro. He just wanted to drop. And I was like, mate. And then he
Anna does.
And he's like, you're in a dressing gown. I'm like, I've been seeing that for like 10 minutes.
My listener is ready to start a dressing gown business in your name.
Please do.
Hilarious.
Please do. I love it.
No, it's wonderful. Sorry, there's somebody There's LA things happening. No, but yeah. So and there's like the chain of spinelessness and lack of accountability that everyone's kind of touching on, which I think is really poignant. Where it's like, at the end of the day, there are a lot of people very attached to a lot of these issues that are happening who want to just very conveniently say, "Oh, I have nothing to do with this." But it's like you hosted these incidences, you hosted these events, you hosted the people who caused them or were part of them. At what point are you no longer able to say, "Well, I have nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with me"? At what point do you have a responsibility to stay a pillar in the community, a voice, as somebody the fans do trust? At what point do other people have a responsibility to step in and police their puppies, or make a statement one or the other about, or just let their fans know how they feel? And I don't want to name names to put them on blast, but.
No, you should. You should name names. Like, there's no issue with that. I think, like, we can all be adults about stuff. Like, people do dumb shit. They do have to have a note of it. It's a learning curve. It's like when I called Uche and everyone else spineless fucks. Like, you do. Like, it's a learning curve. You have to experience it from someone. It's not nice, but it has to be done.
Sorry, Travis is a bitch out here.
It's all good.
All right, well, and I'd like to, before I say anything, I just would like to say, if anything I say is me.
Well, there's some truth from Sketch. Well, Uche is a lefty. That's the opposite of personal responsibility. Indeed.
Entertainment, Jessi Milestone, representative, me, nothing to do with anybody else.
You shouldn't even have to do that. Come on, we're all adults.
I do.
We can have
because,
this conversation without it.
I do have to do that, because I'm here on Jeff's, next to Jeff, near him, with him, and friends to a lot of other people who are going to.
Ethan is eating. Shocking.
Who are going to make those, to make those decisions. But no, I do have a problem with how silent Gary has been in all of this. I think that there's, we all knew him. Doomcock rode to fame on Gary's coattails, and now Gary hosts a show where Doomcock is regularly lampooned and made fun of quietly.
While you might say that that's true, to phrase it that way does definitely sound like she's shitting on Doomcock some more. Now, doesn't it? Cecil says he's starting a line of crotchless dressing gowns. Okay. I actually kind of thought, isn't a dressing gown crotchless anyway? Isn't it just, I don't know. Not an expert on clothing. EVS just eating burgers like don't care, lol.
Not named by name, and he's just totally okay with that and fine rolling over for it. And that's totally cool. And Mecca wanted to try to drag his name into a lot of drama that really wasn't his business, which is fine. But I still want to know why Gary all of a sudden unfollowed me on Twitter the day all of that stuff dropped. So there are things that are happening. There are things that people are doing behind closed doors. People who want to act like they're above it all. People who want to act.
And I don't know about that. I mean, maybe Gary is like, yeah, I don't want to follow this bitch anymore, or maybe it was just Twitter doing it on their own, because sometimes they seem to do that shit. I'm pretty sure. I know YouTube does it. Like, I know there have been channels that I've subscribed to, and I'll go to look through the list of subscriptions that I have to find a channel that's like, I haven't seen anything from that channel in a while. I wonder if they, I wonder what's going on. And then I can't find it. And it's like, it's gone. It's like, the fuck? I know it was there, now it's not. Of course, that's the same thing with, and I don't, I wonder, a lot of people, just decide that YouTube is fucking with us. Like, they're fucking with us on purpose. I'm not sure if they are, or if it's just that their software doesn't work worth a damn. Because look, I have noticed with my own channel, it's like, I've noticed that, the creator studio, or whatever the fuck it is where you upload the videos, it's like, that'll show comments on some of the videos when there aren't any comments there. Like, you'll check and it's like, no comments to show you, and it's like, okay, then why are you showing a comment? And they'll it'll show that likes that are there. Like, if you go and look at the video, there are likes on it, and it will show me on the on the creator studio thing, it'll show there's no likes on this video, and it's like, yeah, there are. I saw them. It's like, they're there, and it will, and there was a. It seems to have stopped for the moment, at least, but I noticed that for a while there, very early on, when I first started uploading videos, I noticed that a number of the first videos that I got, had decreasing numbers of views. Like, they would increase in views. No, not very many. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's so noticeable, is because there's not very many views to start with, and then it's like, oh, look, you've got 8 views on this video, and then the next day you've got 7, and the next day you got 6, and the next day you've got 5, and the next day you've got 4, and it's not how many you got that day, that's how many you got total. And it's like, how how are people unwatching my video? That doesn't make any sense. And then eventually it would stop before it got to no views, and then it would start to go back up again. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? So I don't know and like I said, it's like the numbers are different. They're different when I'm logged in and looking at my own channel. They're different when I'm looking at it through the Creator Studio thing, and they're different when I'm looking on another computer that I'm not logged in as anything, and I'm just looking at YouTube on some other computer. I don't understand it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It seems the numbers just seem random. They'll be random, and the other day I noticed I searched for something, and I guess it was something that didn't have hardly any results on YouTube, so it started showing me my own videos amongst others, like mine and other people I'm subscribed to or whatever, videos after the search results. Like there's just like half a dozen search results or something, and then oh look, there's one of my videos that I just uploaded, and it showed like 16 views. But elsewhere, like if you actually go to the video or if you look at it through the Creator Studio thing or whatever, it showed like, dozens and dozens of views, and it's like, the fuck is going on? Like, why is it, why are the numbers so different depending on where on the site you're looking at them? They're different, the views are different when they're show up in the search results. They're different when they're, in recommendeds. They're different when you're actually looking at the video. They're different when you're looking at the Creator Studio. I mean, I'm forced to conclude that likely this is an indication that the software that's running the site just, has a problem. It just doesn't really work very well. And so, the numbers are simply not concrete at any point. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it does seem to be a problem. And like I said, for it to be at that level, it's got to be more than just, oh, there's some asshole behind the scenes fucking with it. It's like, no, there's some software glitches. They're just repeated over and over again, or something like that.
Like they're not involved, like they're not doing anything, but they are. They're doing many things. They're talking to many people. They're just doing it shadily behind closed doors and thinking that there's no accountability for them and that no one is ever going to notice or call them out on the bullshit that they're pulling. That's all.
But see, this is important, right? And I've highlighted this comment from Felicity Poubelle because I think what you're saying and what everyone else has been saying is perfectly represented here by Felicity Poubelle, who has unsubscribed from all of those people, right? Like she doesn't involve herself with those people. I remember Felicity Poubelle, she dropped into one of my streams and said, like, what are you about? Like before I choose to watch you and become a member. Because I'm fairly certain she asked this. I'm not trying to call you out, Felicity. I'm not trying to use this as a highlighting point. This is someone who's disenfranchised. This was a former fan of the Fandom Menace, in quotation marks, whatever you want to call it, and has chose to distance themselves from it. And it's by actions, like what you're referencing and what's been done publicly and things like this. It's very clear to individuals that watch those channels to go, yeah, no, I'm not interested now, actually, fuck this. And Felicity Poubelle here saying, don't call yourself Fandom Menace and support denigrating fans, period.
Cecil, I have an alt account where I block all of you.
If you supported DC before, support now. You got a problem with DC, you should have called out before.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like, called it out. You don't necessarily have to go around calling out everyone you have a problem with. But
Sketch says, oh, you mean Gary Nerdrotic enabling Doomcock? And he was talking about Gary enabling Doomcock. I think they talk about aliens and cryptids. Or the D, Sketch. But yes, they do. Sometimes. I'm not sure if Gary's that into it, because Doomcock always sounds enthusiastic, but then they hardly ever do that show, even though a lot of the audience wants them to. Or it could just be that Gary's busy. Anyway.
But I think you should call out the lies, or at the very least, not report on it and support it.
absolutely, 100%. If you have reported, parroted, or even rolled over for the lies, because there are a lot of people, when they're confronted with the lies on a stream, will stand their ground and kind of be like, no. And there are other people who will just sort of go, okay, I guess we're accepting this as the truth now. And there's a very distinct difference.
Because if you respect the fans that you have, you probably shouldn't be reporting on those things by going, yeah, this is 100%.
And you probably shouldn't also be telling them that a comet is coming, like Marshall Applewhite did. Heaven's Gate. The guy orchestrated a mass suicide in conjunction with the comet and a weird space fantasy. We don't need to have that happen here, not in the Fandom Menace. And if there's anything we can do to stop it, we need to begin right now to put a stop to these cults and mass suicides. Thank you. Not throwing shade either, Doomcock.
Ethan, I'm glad you're looking out for our well-being.
That first stream with Andy and look at my behavior. It's just the worst. I'm so sorry.
You've been on stream with me before.
You just
I don't even remember. He's so big, doesn't even remember.
Also, hi, Andy.
Hey, Jessi.
It's good to see you.
Always good to talk to you. But good for you. Speak the truth. Jessi, people are asking who Jessi is. Mindless Entertainment on YouTube, and she always speaks the truth.
Yeah.
Sketch therapy. I don't care if Gary liked Doomcock or cryptids. If you want to make the Fandom Menace about the future, I suppose the Fandom Menace, is about how we were treated, not what product is coming. That's called cucking. Okay. So Sketch apparently doesn't want people to cover news or rumors. I'm not sure what would be left for them to talk about, though, if they didn't do that. Marinary Home says none of this stems from jealousy, even though that's what Doomcock said in his member stream. Well, except you can only say that for yourself now, can't you? You don't know that that the other people are not, I think proper term would be envious of Doomcock. They could be, but you can't speak for them. Gary's not at fault. DC should never have brought this drama on Twitter. That's the last thing to start drama on. Oh well, whatever.
Yeah.
This is important to highlight here. Mr. Dragon says Gary's not at fault. Doomcock should have never brought this drama on Twitter. That's the last thing to start drama. Well, Gary is actually at fault here, and it's, you can.
Twitter trash. Very good question. Why do some people feel they have the right to police anyone else's content? And see, this is the thing. And Ron Martin observes EVS is upset. But, this is the thing. These, not necessarily these guys, but what fucking Jessi and the other women bitching about Tom and apparently about Gary, trying to control their content or whatever, trying to say what they can and cannot say on their channels and shit. And yet, they're essentially doing the same goddamn thing with Doomcock. They're bitching about how dare he make all these fucking videos that we have to, put up with existing, talking about all these ridiculous rumors. It's like, it's not your business what he does on his fucking channel.
You can defend him all you like, but no, he is at fault because he's hosting a stream where Doomcock, Ryan Giddle, Gary all share the same fan base, right? That's at the very least there's a crossover. We can all agree on that. Yes. Mm-hmm. So when then Ryan Giddle chooses to, again, which has then been pushed by Doomcock and other people who misconstrued it, regardless, whatever. But when Ryan Giddle has said something which has been misconstrued, or FYI has said it, however you want to take it, said people that believe this stuff are effing retards, Gary should have stepped in because it's disrespecting his own fan base as well. And he is absolutely.
Yeah, he probably should have, but he didn't.
And then Doomcock is absolutely at fault for then going on Twitter and saying all this stuff, but then hiding behind a paywall stream. Everyone's to blame here.
Cecil, it's too late. I just got a tweet from Mike Zero in the future. We're all gone. Kool-Aid and Nikes.
It's schoolboy politics. This is what the whole stream's called. It's just
Did you watch that? Did you watch that clip from Friday Night Fights?
Friday Night Fights.
Friday Night Fights, sorry, that's right. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Because I did. I also was asking because I didn't get that vibe. And I don't know if they really cared during the stream. This happened afterwards. So my point is, could Gary have just been trying to ignore it to move on?
But if your whole
probably, but that was not wise.
For the fans. No, you shouldn't really ignore it. You shouldn't. That's
It's
the point.
like-
And that's
I don't think he was calling out.
but the Fandom Menace is in general, isn't it? It's like fans. The studios disrespect the fans.
He was calling out anybody who believes Doomcock's all of his reports as fact, as idiots. And I don't think he's wrong. Like anybody who's going to believe that there's a
But some of those people are to blame because they bloody report on it, mate.
Sure, but then
So then you can't sit there and go, oh yeah, it's fine, when you are literally part of the problem that actually reports on it.
But should he have then called out Doomcock or Ryan if he agreed? You see, or just take a stance.
Well, you can mitigate. Well, you don't have to call anyone. You can mitigate the potential throwback from fandom.
Twitter Trash says this stream is making it way bigger than it is. Well, maybe. I mean, maybe it's making this particular incident bigger than it is, but at the same time, the fact that there's so many people interested in talking about this and whatnot, does that maybe indicate that even though the Ryan Doomcock thing got over with relatively quickly and everything seemed fine, probably indicates that actually there's more going on here. There's more people pissed about this shit, and there's more, there's more discontent in the Fandom Menace and that general sphere than than just what we've seen so far. Like there's a growing discontent from the sound of it. So we see, it's like this is like a volcanic eruption, that's just on its way. It's not here yet. It's like you get a steam vent or something opening up here or there, but it's just it's just a prelude to the main event.
By just go, oh, do you want to just clarify your stance there, and then get Ryan to further discuss it, like a man.
That's what I'm saying. I thought Ryan was very clear. He was calling anybody who believes everything Doomcock says as an idiot, and I would echo anybody who believes anybody always 100%. You should.
You have to have merit skepticism, 100%. Like when I do the whole my source said this, I'm like just wait and see. Like I'm just wait and see. Like I'm happy to just be like, yeah, I might be wrong, but just wait and see. Like you believe it or not, like it's up to you, sort of thing.
I think a lot of people just took offense when I don't think he was aiming at them. Is all I'm trying to get at.
I think there was a lot of misunderstanding there for sure.
Better, but I think that this is now.
But Doomcock, go on to Doomcock's Twitter. You can't say, Doomcock sat there on Twitter going, oh, people disrespected my fans. It's like,
exactly. That's where I think it's blown out into more of a thing. I think it's just a misunderstanding. Look, I'm not
they're both to blame. Like you use credibility without launching the individual.
With David Korak, they wouldn't listen to Andy Signori. How do you pronounce it?
Signore.
Signore. You wouldn't listen to him and take his advice, and so people died. I'm not saying that that's Doomcock's fault, but I'm just saying other cult leaders, not necessarily Doomcock, but other cult leaders other than Doomcock have followed.
Hang on, God. You're going to cause more problems here, Ethan. What are you doing?
But
Yeah, I was actually just going to bring that tweet up, Mr. H.
Doomcock is feeling. I'm 100% on board with you here. Why does he keep bringing this public? And I talked to Gary. I tried to talk to him 4 times privately, and he didn't talk. It's been 24 hours. I waited as long as I could. I have to defend myself. The issue is not the venue, it's the person. Ryan said that his own stream would have left him the fans, but Gary's show is different. I handle this only way I give him a lack of private response from Gary. He's blowing this up now, and now shot at Ryan, but now fuck you, Gary, and now he's making it way bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, case in point, right? Case in point. You can't sit there and say all of this, and you're equally to blame here. You're stoking the flames of all this nonsense. Yeah, not good. Not good. But I think even at that point, when someone, I don't know, I just think at the end of the day, like you are like an accessory. You know, if you sat there reporting on all of this stuff, and not. Well, yeah, I don't know. I just think so many people have vested interest in not saying that it's clearly nonsense because they do report on it.
We need reporters. We need people who are just going to stand there and be on camera. Sure, Ryan Kendall in this scenario could be compared to Lee Harvey Oswald. Doomcock would be the president. His fans would be the first lady, spattered in his blood and gore. Their beautiful pink suits. But we do need.
DC Ryan Beef is giving me strong Ruby Ridge vibes. Cecil. This is BS. What has happened to the Fandom Menace? It started with Snyder, continued with the disrespect of the women. Did it though, or was it just the women deciding to cancel Tom? I mean, that's I'm not entirely convinced there. Women of the Fandom Menace, and now this. P.S. I am a proud supporter. EVS, but you are wrong on the women. Again, is he? I wouldn't count on it. Wouldn't count on it.
Pruder, and that's you, Mr. H, filming this and letting people know for the future.
I think people are clearly enjoying this. It's a hot topic for people. People are very interested in this for whatever reason, whether they think the whole Ryan Kendall versus Doomcock thing is. Was
Jeremy Briggs on the grassy knoll?
Well, I mean, that is debatable.
Was Gary across the way? Triangulation of Crossfire. Was he? Don't know. We can. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Are you part of the Fandom Menace? Is that something that you would consider yourself? I would imagine so, isn't it?
Yeah, we were the first channel. Like, legitimately, I was 2015, right outside of The Force Awakens, made the video, and had been on this, and had the same views the entire time. So, yeah, really all this started when Ethan messaged me, 2 or 3 years ago.
Broadway, though. We joined the chorus.
I'm about to have an interview with DC Comics.
We don't want to talk about that too much.
I've heard the stories.
Yeah, as you said, you're fuck the studios, right? Pushback from it. What is that?
Well, the thing is, it's not that I can't make those videos. I can make those videos. They're active currently on the channel right now. I've never hidden from my views. They're all out there. I'm just in a weird place where I'm not getting the same, viewing spread because I got other projects. This book takes up more time. So, but go back and watch it. Toe the line the whole time. But people, the thing is, it's weird. It's interesting how, like, you go back a couple years to Esquire magazine. I think it was end of 2018. Doomcock and I are both written about it in an article. He's mentioned my name. I'm not.
Didn't address. Well, I don't need to, but I will address this in the chat. Gary completely ignores Doomcock's rumor. To me, that showed he doesn't trust Doomcock enough to even waste a minute on the rumors. Except he doesn't ignore them. He and Az make fun of them. So, don't know. Not sure that Gary necessarily is respecting Doomcock as much as you would expect for somebody who's your friend. I mean, if I was friends with somebody, I actually considered them a friend, it's like I'd probably shy away from shitting on them, making fun of them in any way that might be taken wrong. I mean, I would, and like one of the ways that happens, frankly, I should think, is that if you want to make fun of somebody who's even just online friends, but you want to make fun of somebody who's your friend online, it's like you do it to them, like you're there on their stream or whatever, and you make a joke, and maybe it's at their expense, but you make it there, and they know it. It's when you make jokes about them behind their back with other people that shows maybe there's a lack of respect there. So when Gary does that with Az, when they have a running fucking joke about about Doomcock's Kathleen Kennedy rumors or whatever, it's like okay. You're
They talk about my video, but not once is my name mentioned or anything. I've just always been here making content, telling my takes, giving it the way I see it, but I always just never get talked about in the conversation. So I'm glad. I guess that's just how it's been the whole time. I mean,
you should have named yourself after a phallus. That probably. They probably were excited about saying Doomcock. Had this to say. If you had called yourself Disaster Penis, you probably would have gotten your name in that article too.
Doomcock is a good name.
You could have gone a bit more classy.
Got to give him that.
I mean, there's better terminology out there as well. You don't have to lower yourself, to debase yourself to the lowest standard of terminology.
Oh yes, we do.
We were working on a script with the Death Meter for a while.
That's true. That was not our best thought.
No, the Death Meter had a pretty
Death Meter.
vibe to it.
Interesting. I like it.
But yeah, Mr. H, it's not that I can't and don't. I do. I stand by my stuff all the time. And my portion of the Fandom Menace knows this. Go back and look. I keep everything.
That's not me. That's not me trying to FYI. I think maybe I was a bit confused. With
No.
what
You know what? I'm glad I'm happy you asked me this directly because I am very proud of what I put out. The only time I ever do this stuff is when it kills the algorithm like a live stream. No, that's it. That's all the videos are there. The opinion pieces, the stuff that I'm talking about is still on the channel. So it's like yelling into the void at times. And go back and watch the show. Go back and listen to my podcast every week. A rumor pops up. Hey, is Kathleen Kennedy getting fired this week? What do we say in unison? No. I mean, come on. You can only deny this shit so much publicly before people can't figure out. But if you say it verbatim, what they're trying to say, like, every week I've been on tons of streams talking about this shit. And for some reason, everyone's enamored with whatever the official Fandom Menace stance had become. In 2019, shit shifted. 2020, the world broke. Everybody just made up shit and played it out. So that's what happened. This official Fandom Menace stance started to take place, and that's really how it all kind of fell apart.
That's my experience. Is like you make your content that very, very clearly, explicitly, without saying the word Doomcock, tells you exactly how you feel about the rumors, about the bullshit, about whatever's going on, and everyone wants to go, oh, you're calling out Doomcock? How do you like Doomcock? Hail Doomcock, Doomcock. And it becomes a thing of like, I will tell you exactly how I fucking feel, and I will steer clear of those words because I do not need to hear you telling me, hail Doomcock, why do you hate my overlord? If you are not ready to be told that he's lying to you, I don't need to be the person to stand up and say he's lying to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm here in my corner telling you the fucking truth. If you want to come to my corner of the universe, where we're telling you how it is, that's how it is. And now if people are ready to hear it, all right.
Tweeter Trash and a few other people are doing the Hail Doomcock, and you got to admit it works. I mean, the EVS, I believe, has admitted that that's where Comicsgate got their whole. I mean, they sort of adapted it with the whole Caesar and war campaign or whatever thing to the Roman shit about hail, but the origin of the whole hail business was actually Doomcock. So.
He's lying to you. People are finally fucking ready to open their ears and hear the goddamn truth. He has been lying to you the entire time. These so-called sources, hell, he has stolen my videos that I just put.
Okay, here we go. Let's slow this down for her rant. Oh boy.
Out there is like, hey, here's my random theory that I thought up after Anna told me a little bit about the Clone Wars on a matriarchy stream. Hey, here's this retarded theory that is never going to happen based on an article I read. I made those videos 2 weeks later. They are Doomcock rumors based on sources. All of a sudden, months in, I'm hearing everyone, oh my god, did people see my video? Are people talking about, nope. He just fucking stole my random thought, smoked some fucking California weed, came up with this video idea. 2 weeks later, Doomcock is passing this off as a secret source, reaping all the rewards off of this.
Yep.
And
I have absolutely no idea of whether there's any veracity to that or not. Considering it's Jessi, I wouldn't count on it. But somebody in the chat saying, "Why is Jessi interrupting?" She's a woman. That's what That's what women do, or at least that's what they should do if they want to be heard. Unlike the other women who sit there and don't talk over people, don't interrupt, and never get a word in edgewise, and then complain about it later, like Mecca. Well, I don't know. I mean, we saw that she's perfectly capable. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anyway, but the point is, she's saying this, and look, there are certain things that are, I guess they're coincidences, or maybe there is some kind of weird thing that where all people are connected on some sort of psychic level that we don't understand or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. But call it what you will. It's like there are things that it's like parallel development happens. I remember briefly being very pissed off because back how many years ago is that now? It wasn't quite 15. But it's more than 10 at this point, I guess. Stargate Atlantis ended in 2009, I think, and it only ran for 5 seasons. So it would have been what? It would have been what? 09, 08 for season 5. So season 4. Anyway, but I don't know. It's getting close to probably 15 years ago. Whatever. Was it season 3? I think season 3 finale, where the Asurans send a satellite equipped with a Stargate to. Spoiler warning, by the way. I mean, it's nearly 15 years old, but so you've had plenty of time to see it. Damn it. Anyway, the Asurans, that's the Pegasus Galaxy replicators. They send a satellite with a Stargate on it, whatever. A satellite built around a Stargate, to where Atlantis is, and then they dial that gate and fire an energy beam through it, and it's powered by all of the 0-point modules on their home world. So it's it's a limitless energy supply basically. So they're just firing this weapon, which will be a continuous beam, at the city. And so they have to do some they have to engage in some outside the box thinking to try to deal with this issue. Now, obviously, that would have been filmed and ready, like many months before. And I don't remember how many months. It was certainly many months, but it probably was after they'd already written and probably after they'd already filmed that episode. Maybe not after they'd done, probably still doing post-production or something. But it was probably after they'd written it, at any rate. So at some point, probably after they had penned that episode, but long before I saw it, I had come up with an idea for an Atlantis fanfic that I had considered writing. I was going to have them, the Atlantis team encounter some aliens that seemed like they would make good allies, but then, of course, they turned out to be bad guys, of course, and then they attacked the city. And they were going to attack the city with, it was sort of a mobile space station, a spaceship that was I don't know, it was, but the spaceship was shaped like a Stargate. I mean, it's just ring shaped, and it would have had and it would have been a beam weapon, a continuous beam weapon, and that would have been formed inside of it. So admittedly, it's not quite the same thing as what showed up in that episode, but it was remarkably similar. My idea. I never wrote that, of course. I just played around with the idea and thought about it and never got around to it. But I thought about that, and then some months later, I don't remember how many, but it's like I was probably playing around with that idea around the early that season, and then it was the end of that season when that episode aired, and I was legitimately pissed when I first saw that, because I really, felt like I'd been ripped off. I mean, admittedly, all I was doing was coming up with a fanfic idea, but the point is, it's like, I came up with this idea, and it was an original idea. It was mine. It was my original thoughts. And if I'd written it first, if I'd written it and got it out on the internet, maybe some people would have recognized that, it's like, you came up with that idea first. But because I hadn't done that, and then this episode came out, it'd be like, man, if I were, I'd already by that point kind of decided I wasn't going to write it anyway, but that sealed the deal on me definitely not fucking writing that fanfic, because if I had, everybody who read it would have been like, oh, you just ripped that off of their, and it's like, no, I didn't. So, but the fact that would be what everyone would think, that legitimately pissed me smooth the fuck off. I was like, what the, how did this happen? What the fuck? I had an original idea, and now, if I were to share it with the world, no one would believe it. No one would believe that it was my original idea. They'd believe that it was stolen. And there's been other things like that in sci-fi. Admittedly, there are many, many, many common tropes that appear over and over again in sci-fi, but nevertheless, it's like there have been numerous things that I have thought up completely on my own. I didn't like get it from here or there or whatever. And whether I saw it someplace later, or whether I saw and later meaning something that was written and published or aired or whatever after I thought of it, maybe years later, or whether it was something that I only read later, but it actually been published maybe years or even decades before I came up with my original idea. It winds up being very similar. It's never exactly the same, but oftentimes, similar shit, and it's like, man, that's a little odd, and it's to some degree disturbing. And of course, the biggest problem is the knowledge that everybody's going to think that if they hear your idea second, after they've heard the other one, no matter what the truth is, they're going to believe that, oh, you just ripped that off. So it's aggravating, to say the least. But that happens all the time. So parallel development is definitely a thing. It absolutely happens. I've witnessed it over and over and over again in my life. So Jessi is claiming that Doomcock is stealing her takes or stealing her theories to make up his rumors or something. And it's like, she doesn't know that. You know, I mean, is it possible? Sure. But is it also possible that that's not the case and she just believes it is? Yes. It's very much possible that it did not, happen the way that she's claiming that it did. But she just immediately assumes that nope, this idea of mine, it was not something that anybody else could have, and it's like, actually, yes, it is.
I now have to sit here going, no, this is not real.
You know who else exploited women? Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Charles Manson was another one who utilized the women in his cult. Okay, you might call it a cult to do dirty deeds. And I wouldn't like. What I'm saying is, if it were 1969 and the internet existed, Jessi, it's possible that you would be, he would have borrowed your ideas, and one of your ideas might have been to murder Sharon Tate. Not one of your best ideas.
Doomcock plays with dolls. Well, he's in good company.
You are derailing this this stream, good sir.
Then I love you in ways like platonic is the right word, but like in the true way that Plato meant it.
I didn't know that was related to Plato. So Plato was constantly friend zoned. Is that why it's named for Plato?
What I mean to say, it's in a very pure, in ways that would not offend either Andrea or Jeff, but I laud you in a manner that I revere you as a god, but not in a creepy way. That's what I mean.
You know who else was revered as a god?
That's why we love Ethan.
Jesus Christ. Who led his,
I see you drawing comparisons there to his holiness of
eternal life.
Christ. Yeah.
That's right. I'm not saying that Doomcock is David Koresh, Charles Manson, Pol Pot, Idi Amin. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that he isn't.
You're just asking questions.
I'm just making comparisons. I'm drawing to, I'm not saying Ryan Kindle is Lee Harvey Oswald. I'm not saying that. And I'm also not saying that I'm the Lord Jesus Christ. I want to make all of that clear.
You definitely would never say that, would you?
Just saying
Never.
Jesus was thin.
That's just patently nonsense. You would never say that.
What was I saying?
Oh,
I'll leave that open to interpretation. Smarter people can go back and rewatch this.
EVS is like two Jesus.
I think this stream's going to be spoken about quite a lot, to be fair, from what I can see. People have been tagging it and going, oh, I'm going to do a reaction to this, etc., etc. So I think this stream will have a little bit of traction, interestingly.
I'll cover it on the High Council again.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Dear, oh, dear.
In the chat, because I had no idea EVS felt this way about Doomcock. Well, what did I say? Just that he was a substantial
What do you
leader of
actually
men.
think? Come on, what do you actually think of Doomcock?
I think that he's funny. I think that maybe he got in over his head with some of these ridiculous rumors. I think to sit there and say, "Hey, you're lying and hurting everyone," is I guess it's deserved at this point. But Doomcock never bothered me. I always thought of him as just funny,
But I guess that's the point, isn't it? Like, you view him. Some people. What's the age range of the people that actually does the whole Hell Doomcock? With that respect, we reject. What's the ages there? Because to me,
A lot older.
older.
I think it's older, yeah.
You fucking joking me? What?
Well,
DBT Overlord, yeah. 30s.
I'd say a lot of the audience is a lot of disenfranchised people, which is right. But what happened was where it got, twisted. Where instead of you could make content about it with this level of anger, and you could keep it whatever, you had to ramp it up to stay relevant, and that's what killed it because you just ran out of stuff to be angry about that was real.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. He maintained the same very, very small channel for a long time. That was the only shtick that worked. He rode to fame on Gary's coattails during the Game of Thrones aftermath, and he got a taste of that life. Sure, we all do. It's very exciting, and he had to find a way to stay on top. So he lied.
I didn't need to make up my Captain Marvel stuff.
No.
It came and it went, and that was it.
Find new topics. You didn't even touch the Game of Thrones stuff, and you're still here.
Yeah, the thing is, it is a business, and everybody understands that. But at a certain time, it's bad business. It's
honesty to the fans, integrity of the fans. Our integrity and our honesty to the fans is paramount.
Because let me tell you a quick story, if you don't mind. We met a fan last year, early in the year. All he wanted to do was talk about the Doomcock stuff and the rumor stuff like it was the truth. And it's like
Doomcock is the Liberace of YouTube.
We did both.
We don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, kind
We do
of.
not think it's real.
don't think it's real.
Every single time someone has asked me straight up if I think it's real, I tell them 100%
Although
no.
EBS is also in the running for that title.
And I'll be like, yeah, no, I don't think this is real. I think Doomcock is full of shit. And I'll have a week's worth of people replying to irrelevant tweets going, yeah, but remember when you said the thing about Doomcock? What did you mean by that? And I'm like, it's not real. The end. That's all. That's exactly what I meant. Is what I said. It's not real. You don't have to read into it. I said it's not real. Take it for what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? People can't differentiate between saying someone's talking nonsense or what they're saying is nonsense versus you attacking them personally.
Yeah, look at L. Ron Hubbard and his. I'll stop. I will stop. I'm so sorry. That's taking it too far.
Just a lie.
I'm kind of scared for my safety.
Yeah, I'm worried now. Yeah, they might hear you out here. That's where I take umbrage, though, because the thing I constantly see every time I go to investigate and see, and I go to like check the comments and see have Doomcock's fans finally woken up? Are they finally realizing he's full of shit? No, what I always see is even the skeptics don't blame him; they blame the sources, because he's set up a zero accountability net where he encourages everyone to stay angry, stay angry, stay angry, and then when he's wrong, oh, blame not me, it's the sources, the sources, the sources. He doesn't have sources. I will point the videos to you that he stole from me. He's gone onto all the bullshit things. He's gone onto Reddit. He goes into all the little small places and finds everyone's stoner thoughts, high thoughts, drunk thoughts, late night, basement driven. This is my crackpot theory, and goes, ooh, I'll bet my fans would eat this shit up.
You remember the one that was the most egregious? Have you heard the egregious one though, where he's like, Brie Larson is fired from Captain Marvel, and then the next day they announced Captain Marvel 2? It was hilarious. It's like, how did the world not know? It's like, Tuesday. Oh man, Brie Larson's going away. Everyone's like, oh, I can't wait. All right, literally the next day, Captain Marvel 2 officially announced. It's like, oh, what happened? And then they're like, well, it was never going to happen anyway. Like,
but that's exactly the same. That's exactly the same situation that happened with this Batman rumor nonsense.
Yep.
So it came out saying, oh, it's going to be shut down because Robert Pattinson's a menace on set.
So Doomcock said, apparently, according to them, I mean, I don't recall, personally, but according to them, he's, saying that Brie Larson's going away, that she's going to be fired or whatever, and then, they shit on the idea that, that's the case, and then, they're like, aha, we are vindicated because they've announced Captain Marvel 2. Except now, however much longer it's been, apparently Captain Marvel 2 isn't Captain Marvel 2. Now it's The Marvels. And it's got Brie Larson and whoever the fuck is playing Kamala Khan and somebody else as well. So she's been, it's kind of looking like they're putting her in the back seat of her own film, and not even calling it, Captain Marvel 2. They're calling it The Marvels. It's probably gonna suck no matter what, but I don't know. I mean, anyway.
It's shutting down next week. That's it, it's done. But they're going to go under the guise of COVID, right? That's the thing. And I'm like, I know that's bollocks, because I know people that are filming it. I know people that are actively going to be in Liverpool next week, and I know that they're going to be in Warner Brothers Studios. And then boom.
And for some reason, My Nerdy Home is spamming with Mr. H sitting there and then gives a smug or whatever emoji. And she said that at least twice now, maybe more.
Like literally the day later, I was like, oh, here, this is nonsense. And then people were like, oh, you talk about blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, the sad thing is that those videos don't get traction because people like to, hate on something. It's bad to hear the positive side of it. People like to hate on something.
Nonsense.
So then, the week later when I was proved right, no one really watched that bloody video.
Well, it's worse than that, though, and that's why I really say Doomcock does not get a pass. He does not get off on this. Even if the people who want to say, oh, he's the victim in this, he does not get a pass on any of this. Oh, he's just an entertainer. No, he actively tries to cover this stuff up. I've had multiple instances where people are suddenly going, hey, why is this story getting traction today? This is like 2-3 weeks old. Every single time, it's, oh, Doomcock made a video. Why did he make a video on this old news today? He needs to sensationalize something because today is the day one of his bullshit rumors didn't come true.
And how many websites are going to cover for him too? Like,
exactly.
We all make fun of we got this covered as being this unreliable source because they quote him or he quotes them.
Founding in comics is sucking his fucking dick for their own clicks.
Yeah, I've stopped. I've stopped referencing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all, for our own various reasons that may or may not have to do with, them doxing people we like, have stopped, associated with founding in the comics.
What's that?
But, what? Oh, you didn't know about the whole doxing Anna thing?
I had no idea. What is this?
Oh, yeah, they straight up, one of the writers straight up just doxed Anna, and then, like...
We're talking about that Star Wars girl.
Yeah. What? Yeah, that's Star Wars girl, Anna, like my best friend, yeah. They straight up doxed her. And then the writer, like, he would respond to anyone else messaging being like, yo, why did you do this? But would not respond to any of her messages.
How did they dox her? What the
They
fuck?
printed her name. They printed her last name that she pointedly and purposely keeps out of print private everywhere. They somehow found it and they printed it. And when everyone else was like, when all of her supporters read that and were like, yo, she doesn't print this. Like, we're not supposed to know
bad.
this.
Yeah, that's real bad.
I didn't even know that about that.
Yeah.
You would have had to have gone out of your way to find.
Well, thanks so much for that, Jessi. Now probably a fuck ton more people know about that and, may look into it if they're interested. Whereas before, they were blissfully unaware that Bounding into Comics had doxed Anna.
Find that as well.
Exactly.
Her last name is Mallistic. Animalistic. And I was shocked by that. I thought that was so clever of her parents.
Yeah, no, that's really disgraceful, to be perfectly honest. That's not cool at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
No, but beyond that, the whole thing is Doomcock has...
Sketch therapy. I told you, fuck John Delarose and Vox Day's Bounding into Comics. They don't own it, do they? I've been told you for years. Well, that's very rude of you, Sketch. and John Delarose and Vox Day are both doing far more to benefit, society as a whole than you are by sitting here in the chat and telling people "fuck you" and "fuck this" and "fuck that." So, just saying. They're actually trying to help and succeeding.
Has track record now too. You go find the date. If you can go watch his videos, if you predict something happening on a certain day by a certain time, it doesn't come true, go to that date that it was supposed to come true. There is some new sensational bullshit lie or something that's like 3 months old news that he's suddenly treating like it's breaking news on his channel to cover up for the fact that the thing he said was going to happen doesn't happen. That is purposeful deceit. At that
Doomcock is like Caesar being stabbed by all these fandom menacers. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh well, I'm not going to watch or read Bounding into Comics anymore. It's like I don't. It's like, look, Anna is kind of a public figure to a certain extent, and that's just one of those things that you're at least taking the risk that somebody's going to pry into who you are. Is just happens, but so what? I mean, it's a shitty thing, I guess, to have done to dox somebody, but at the same time, it's like you kind of got to expect that it's going to happen sooner or later, especially the more well known you are. I was right from the start about any of the kind of blah 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 blah. Yeah. Yes, you're always right, Sketch, at least in your own head. And Vox Day may be a bit of an asshole from time to time. Not always, but sometimes. But John Delarose is he's really quite nice most of the time. So
at that point, you are purposefully and willfully, you're pulling the smoke and mirrors trick to try to preserve your own credibility. Oh, my fans won't notice I lied to them if I'm spoon-feeding them a new exciting lie, a new shiny thing over here. At that point, you know exactly what you're doing. You're misleading your fans on purpose. You are completely culpable in the lies that they then go around believing and spreading.
You sound so jealous, Jessi.
Yep, that's me. Clearly,
I really hate that as the.
When we
I
criticize
hate that
them,
as
we're jealous of him. Oh, God.
That's exactly why I went onto a completely different platform where I now just play music.
There's Anna saying, yeah, they doxed me, then ignored me when I messaged them, but responded to everyone else. They also claimed they did nothing wrong. Well, I guess the real interesting question is, why did they do it? Wonder if she pissed them off in some way. So
totally, because of my supreme envy for somebody who's not as. Oh, this by the way. I'll just get petty for a second. Why not? Does anyone care if I get petty?
No,
Go
please.
for it.
Fuck it, I'll get petty. So like one time I was ever live on a stream with Doomcock ever, because by the way, he has never invited me to do anything with him ever. Fine by me. Never cared for the guy. The one time I ended up.
So fine by her, except doesn't sound like it, does it? And then a claim that never liked the guy anyway. It's like, I don't even like him and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that you say when you're butthurt because you wanted to to leech off of somebody and they wouldn't let you. I'm just saying, Green. Oh, Cecil, green doesn't look good on you, Jessi. Well.
Just accidentally live on some big ass stream with him. It was hysterical because I don't know. Apparently I'm funny. I guess I do stand-up comedy out here, and apparently the hardest thing to do it. I guess I'm okay at it. I don't know, but I understand my audiences. People laugh. People seem to like what I do, so I keep doing it. And then he comes on the stream and rides the actual worst joke. It's like a bad Star Trek pun, and he rides it into the ground immediately. Like by the first punchline, it's dead. And then he continues riding it into the ground for 5 more minutes. It's painful. But the cute.
Well, you may consider it painful, but again, that's really kind of part of his shtick is that he does the dad joke thing, and I think he knows it's not funny, but like the fact that it isn't, the fact that it's kind of a lame-ass joke, that's part of what's supposed to be funny, is that you're supposed to, it's kind of meta, I guess, or whatever. It's like, I guess Jessi doesn't, not looking at it from that perspective.
Part is the moment I realize Doomcock hates me because he can't do what I do. Because every time I pull off one of my all right, let me just go on a rant. Let me just go talk about things that.
And here we go. This is the chat. Is some of the chat is surprised to hear that she is supposedly a comedian. You got Nerdscape saying your stand-up is terrible. Mr. H, the Donuts one super chatting. Mr. H, censor Jessi like you said Gary should do. Somebody else says jealous, and yes, that good, yeah. Good God, is she a comedian? Ugh. Like, yeah, I was super surprised. I mean, I pointed out previously that that women in general are, on average, they are less funny. They're less likely to be successful at comedy than men, and that's a fact. That's just a statistical fact. And I did point out, I think probably multiple times, about how Jessi wasn't that funny, and it's like, I had no idea that she supposedly does stand-up comedy. I had no fucking clue. But supposedly she does, but I find that shocking, and I don't recall hearing her be overly funny. I mean, I'm sure that she's ranted and said something funny, but then how many fucking times have I heard Doomcock go on a rant? And yeah, it's quite entertaining. It's, there's often some, a few jokes thrown in as well or something. It's, but she acts like she's, just hilarious or something, like, oh yeah, I'm like a professional comedian and shit, and Doomcock is jealous of me. And it's like, no, he's not. He probably barely knows who the fuck you are. It's like, oh, I didn't even notice that one. People find her funny? Deaf people? Well, you might. You see her playing with her fucking hair all the time, and you can't hear anything she's screeching about. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's like I don't even like, as much objectionable as there is about Jessi. I don't hate her or anything. I really don't. I have in the past, like, watched her channel, and I've I don't know how to describe it. It's like I've wanted to like her content. I've wanted to find her more entertaining than I do, but it's like, no, I just can't. It's like I've tried, but you're just not that interesting. I'm sorry. It's like I just can't. I just can't find you that that interesting. You're not that entertaining. You're not that funny. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. Jessi talks and talks and talks. Well, yeah. And like I said, it's like from time to time I've even agreed with whatever she's had to say about certain subjects or whatever. But man, for quite some time now, of course, I've been hearing her bad takes. Hearing her bad takes, hearing her what really seems like if not lies, then at least it's her massively misunderstanding things. And here we have her claiming that she's like really funny, guys. I'm a comedian. I do stand up. Doomcock wishes he could do it. It's like, no, he doesn't. You're not that funny, Jessi. I'm sorry, you're just not.
That people care about, because I have Rooming with Passion 24/7 and want to just yell about things forever. Randy knows this. And then I'm done. And then Doomcock decides he wants to do the same, and then doesn't. And then he isn't spontaneous. He doesn't have that live, that whatever, that thing. And then I realize exactly who he is. I'm like, oh, you're just the person trying to create the core.
What the fuck? No, I like Doomcock.
But in reality, you're the Jessica.
This is cringy.
I don't know. I'm laughing at it.
Estrogen level spiking.
How many ears does Captain Kirk have?
10.
No, he has 3. He has a left ear and a right ear and a final front ear.
I like it. I need to just address
that.
Was that your joke? It was good. Donut Swan says, Mr. H sent to Jessi, like you said Gary should do. So here's the difference, and I've made this patently clear. I am not a part of the Fandom Menace. I am not one of these individuals that is for the fans, fuck the studios. I'm not. I've made it painfully obvious in many videos. I get roped into the Fandom Menace for whatever reason, but I'm not. And I don't need to sit here and like, what is Jessi doing that is similar to what Gary should do? Nothing. Jessi is specifically attacking Doomcock himself, and she's.
And see, I would have assumed that super chatter was just joking, but I guess he took it seriously. I don't know. Maybe they were serious. Twitter Trash says, blasphemer!
Doing it publicly, that's her right if she wants to. Doomcock can defend himself publicly if he wants to. Jesse's not attacking any fans, which is what the whole point is what Gary should have done, is step in when someone attacks a joint fan base. There's a huge difference there. I don't have to come in and censor Jessi. Jessi has autonomy. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not going to come here and say that, oh, Jessi, you don't know what you say, you can't do this. No, if Jessi wishes to insult Doomcock or say whatever she wants about Doomcock, she's more than entitled to. That's absolutely fine. There's a big difference to the situations there. Jessi's a grown-up. She can handle herself. The point of people stepping in with respect to fans is if your brand is built on fans. That's the point. That's the point that people seem to just completely be missing.
Mr. H, where do Star Trek fans work out?
Jessi attacked Star Trek comedy fans. Jessi Mindless One has no audience. She just leeches off of what Jeff has. That, sadly, is kind of true. I mean, she was developing an audience, but at some point there she decided... YouTube pissed her off because of, it was, they were fucking with the algorithm or something, and she didn't like it, so she decided that she was going to basically stop producing most of her content for YouTube. So her channel has kind of withered on the vine as a result. Anyway.
Oh, wait, let's figure this out.
Oh.
They work out.
I'm not quick with these kind of punny jokes, man. I'm quick
well,
on the sarcasm and the drive. I'm British. We invented this stuff. I'm quick on that. I'm not quick on these kind of jokes. So you'll have to tell me. I'm sorry.
I would have told you 20 seconds ago.
I just can't keep talking. I'm so sorry.
All right. They work out. Star Trek fans work out at the "he's dead" gym.
I like that. Yeah. That's like bad level dad joke, but it's still quite funny.
Is that your joke, Jessi?
Funny stuff.
Ryan was also calling out Doomcock's credibility, not the fans. Oh my god, says my nerdy home. Except he did call out the fans. He called out any and all of the fans who believed Doomcock's rumors. That's attacking the fans. It may not be attacking all of them, but it's attacking the fans. So, sorry, there we go with another woman. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm a misogynist. It's that there's just so many women here in the Fandom Menace who have bad takes. But here we go with yet another one of these women that we're supposed to, hashtag believe them all or whatever. And she's saying something that's objectively false. I mean, I how do you expect me to take your word about one thing when I know whether or not you're accurate about another, and I know you're inaccurate? So what can I do except assume that probably you're inaccurate about everything?
It was stolen by Doomcock.
What was that?
Never mind.
Ethan, you're ready for the big time. You're ready for the stage.
I'm getting up there against that brick wall, microphone, and an audience, and I'm gonna lock the fucking back door. They can't get out.
You know what's funny though is if you actually did stand up at like a con, doing nerd jokes, it's like the easiest thing in the world because nerds are so happy to have somebody doing jokes for them. It's like
they're not happy in this chat. They're calling me a fat blimp and telling me to shut up.
Wrong nerd. Wrong nerd, Ethan. Wrong nerd.
They've been quite nice to you, actually.
Oh, but it's very true, gentlemen. But your chat is full of insane Wolverines. They're effing. Never mind. I better not say that.
Yeah, God no. I would have to step in then. You can't do that.
Yes. Stand up for your fans. Stand up.
Obviously, they're not going to be my fans anyway.
Right?
Shut up, Ethan. Shut up, you fat blimp.
I've never called you fat, Ethan.
Come on, you're down like a finish, all right?
I'm getting there.
There you go.
Oh dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear.
Doomcock should come on. That would be epic.
Fear Sundown says Doomcock should.
Yeah.
That would be epic. I don't think he even knows who I am, so I doubt I'm going to be in his.
I don't know. I think he's the type that watches. Judging on his tweets, I think he's paying attention to anybody who's talking.
Donut Swan. Don't worry, mate. Just breaking balls.
I mean, he's more than welcome.
It was a joke, so I was right. It was just a joke.
Yeah, I would be
He wasn't serious about wanting him to censor Jessi.
So don't even think about it, Doomcock.
Right, and also as well, like this is an open offer. If Doomcock wishes to come on this channel any time to defend himself, I don't know what he'd be defending himself from me against, but I literally complimented the dude. But he's more than welcome to. More than welcome to.
How many Kardashians does it take to change a light bulb?
Ask the Cheese says Doomcock and Gary dislike Mr. H. That's they're more than welcome to.
It depends on how many lights you see. That's the answer to that.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Thank you.
That is good.
Hate Star Trek. Hate it.
Archer wants you to tear him to pieces with dad jokes.
I will. I'm ready.
Mr. H is pathetic at
Oh my
playing
God.
Alien
Fantastic.
Isolation.
Yeah, no, so yeah, he's more than welcome to
I
come on.
watch,
Like,
I
don't care.
watch him do it, and it's like,
realistically,
you missed
well,
that.
I don't know, yeah, it's
You
not
idiot.
to be fair, but, yeah.
You know, it's like,
We call him
So,
Doomcock.
just
That's what
makes
we
the
do.
same
What,
mistakes
Doomcock?
over
Yeah,
and
we call
over
him
again.
Doomcock.
It's like,
Oh my
good
God.
God.
That showing.
You have supposedly played this game before, sir. What
Yeah,
are
he
you
actually made a
doing?
tweet earlier. He didn't seem to have any interest in going on stream with Jeremy and Ryan to kind of talk things out publicly or whatnot either. So
What
I'll
the
be
fuck?
surprised if he-
EVS against Doomcock? Getting ready to cancel EVS if he isn't joking.
if he really comes out and says anything.
Well, again, he's more than welcome to. He was more than welcome to come on this. Like I like much like the Uche thing. Like
What a
I will
bitch.
absolutely defend my points. 100%. Like I couldn't care less. I'm sure you guys would be happy to defend your stance on anything as well. That's what adults do. So yeah, I mean, if anyone watches him and because he follows a fair amount of people, I'm sure he follows some of his subscribers. If
He follows
anyone wants
Jessi. He steals her content.
oh, there you go. There you go.
From what
Sorry.
I've heard.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Russians
Oh,
say it
well,
best,
I think-
trust but
so where does
verify?
this
I
leave-
don't think
a
you
good question to
understand
sort of
where that
round out this
reference
stream,
comes
I guess,
from.
is where does this leave the fandom menace? Because I would say that you've got two sort of dissenting factions going on here, from what I can see anyway, or at the very least what people believe to be the fandom menace.
I think there's a huge portion of the people that just don't give a shit about any of the drama and just like what the spirit of it is too. I think there's like a third. I think there's a third option to it.
Yeah.
But maybe one of my dissenting options was that you Jeff, come on now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That actually was part of it. To be fair, I was going with genuinely. I was thinking, well, you've got like your.
All right, so I think we've wasted a long time on this. How fucking? Oh dear God, 2 fucking hours. All right, well, I didn't intend for that to happen. I didn't intend for it to take this fucking long to get through this shit. But I did want to hit the part where Jessie's bitching and all that shit. So now we have, and I would say that based on this, there's a lot more discontent with regard to Doomcock and his rumor mongering, or whatever you want to call it, than you might think. I mean, just based on other thing, the Ryan thing and whatever, and it's like that ended pretty quickly, and it's like many little things like this have happened and they seem to blow over, but it does sound like there's discontent behind the scenes with Doomcock and him, floating all these rumors. There's discontent behind the scenes, potentially from the sound of it, with Gary. Jessi probably is incorrect about Doomcock stealing her jokes and her, or wishing that he could tell jokes like she can, supposedly, even though I'm not sure I've ever heard her tell any fucking jokes at all. And if she did, maybe they just weren't funny. I didn't notice that she was even telling one. This person in the chat saying, so this is a Doomcock hate fest. DC doesn't need to steal anything. Well, no, he doesn't. And he said, I mean, if you like his style of entertainment, he's quite an effective entertainer. By the way, I mean, it depends on you being interested in the kind of content that he generates. But for those who are, he is quite entertaining. He is pretty good at it. In the same way that Ethan is, and various other people just are not that entertaining. Frankly, Jessi is not that entertaining. Jeff is not that entertaining. I don't watch enough of Echo Base Network to know, but I'm guessing they're pretty dull. They may be giving you worthwhile information, but they're probably not terribly exciting, much like the people on the farms have observed. And based on what I've seen here of him, I don't think Andy's all that entertaining either. And Mr. H, he has his moments. But yeah, But like I said, there seems to be a lot of cracks in the Fandom Menace. So there's no telling which one is going to open up next. Because even if people are making a good faith effort to try to smooth, to patch the cracks as they appear, there's always more forming, and there's clearly a lot of resentment among some people. I mean, obviously, Jessi just seems to be a a festering pile of resentment, honestly. She seems to be rather pissed about everybody, about everything, at least a good portion of the time. It's probably not healthy for her. She should relax more. Although, maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I mean, apparently that other stream, she's, smoking the whole time, and it's like, well, it's not relaxing you very much. It's like, maybe you should try something stronger. I don't know. Or maybe stop entirely. I remember this one woman I knew and worked with briefly, and she basically was like, if she didn't have marijuana, according to her, she would murder people. And it's like, that sounds like you have issues like real psychological issues that need to be addressed. Not just slap a Band-Aid of pot on it. It's like, figure out why the fuck you're so pissy without it, and try to fix that. Gary has stated he doesn't have time for this type of BS. Well, good for him. Although if drama does for him and his views what it seems to do for most other people and their views, which EVS seems to be one of the few people acknowledging that reality. Then, well, if he did indulge in the drama, it might get him views that would surprise everybody. He might be getting 10,000 people watching it or more. Who knows what might happen. But anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and call it on this one. I don't recall for sure, but I don't think there's anything else that's particularly interesting. But I definitely wanted to get that business with Jessi. So let me know how what you think about her claims. Do you think she really is stealing? Or I mean, Freudian slip. Do you think Doomcock really is stealing her shit and wishes that he was as funny as she is? Oh man. Until the next one.